some real purpose. Probably one of the craziest go home shows, because most of the card's not booked, so we've got to do a lot of work tonight to actually get matches in place for the show this Sunday. So I think this has got potential to be a really interesting show. There's a lot that we need to do tonight, so that's going to make for a lot of talking points, and that normally makes for a good show. So I am coming into this quite optimistic, actually. I think that if the show was pretty much done and everything was in place and there wasn't really much to do, then I think we could be looking at tonight being a go home, and we all know that go homes traditionally are not the strongest of shows. But as we said, a lot to do tonight. So much to do tonight that actually I can't find much in the way of a graphic. I can't find, I don't know if it's going to come out soon, but I can't find like a preview. I saw a video that had RJ City and Renee. They went through the show, but there was nothing for them to talk about. So they said Adam Cole is going to do a promo. They said that Orange Cassidy is going to take on Penta. Winner of that will go on to face Moxley at All Out. And then that was it. I mean, that was it. There was nothing else for them to talk about. So normally we've got like a graphic that we take a look at. We've got about 7 or 8 different things for us to get our teeth into. To have any of those tonight, unfortunately. So, well, it's a good thing, though, because it means that we can kind of jump into the chat a little bit more than what we have been. And I said last night during the NXT stream that obviously there's been a lot of big topics to talk about. And so it's kind of meant we haven't been getting in the chat as much as I want, because I really do want to get into the chat and chat to as many of you as possible. That's always a goal of the streams. So yeah, not really much to preview, so we can jump in nice and early. Kian, shout out to you, says, Days, hope you are well. Have a good stream. Thank you, my friends. Hope you're well. How has your day been? Do you think Randy returns at Payback? My day's been all right. I really, really wanted to get Payback predictions on the channel. I normally like to do them the Sunday before the pay-per-view, but of course, because of All In, couldn't do that. So I am very delayed with my predictions. I tried to do them today, but I really am putting a lot of work into the videos. I'm really trying. I think you can tell from, say, the Bray video that went on the channel that I'm really trying to put in like extra work. I'm trying to, you know, it's hard. YouTube's hard. It's competitive. You can't rest on your laurels. You've always got to be bringing your A game. And so I'm really having to look at like, right, what are my videos looking like? What are the predictions looking like? And really analyzing where I can make little tweaks and improvements. And so I've done that with the predictions. So it's took ages, man. It's took ages. So that'll be up tomorrow. So that's been my day today. I've been doing that for about 8 hours. But that'll be up tomorrow. And then, yeah, in regards to, do I think Randy will be at Payback? Unless he's going to be there and not wrestle. I mean, I haven't heard any rumors about him being cleared. I don't know if something's come out that I've missed. But last I heard, we were getting very mixed kind of news in regards to where he was. I mean, what I will say is that he has been out of action for over 12 months. The fact that he's been out of the ring for so long, I mean, I think it was last May. So you're looking at like 14, 15 months. The fact he's been out of action that long, I think really shows the severity of the injury that he had. And I've said several times over that period, the injury that he has is the sort of injury that you don't necessarily come back from. And certainly someone of his age. So I think you might want to just keep in the back of your mind that, yeah, you could see Randy Orton and he might cut a retirement promo because it's all a bit quiet. He's been out of the ring a long, long time. The injury that he had is not an injury that you can easily just shake off. It could result in him having to adjust his move set as well, and some of the things that he does, and that's even if he does get cleared. So I don't know if there's been a report saying that he's ready to go and all this, then I've not seen it, but brilliant. I would love to see it, because it would be great to have Randy come back. But as I'm sitting here right now, am I expecting Randy at Payback? No, not even close. Not even close. Because I haven't seen anything about him coming back. And the news has been quite, I don't know, sometimes you're hearing that he's going out and buying like ring gear and that he's going to WrestleMania. Do you remember that? He was going to be at WrestleMania. And there was rumors that they were going to be planning for a return. And I remember WrestleMania word going around that he might make an appearance. And it's like, you know, you go down this road quite often. You go down this road where you're like waiting to see if he's going to come back. Is he going to come back? Is he going to come back? I think I'm at the point now where I'll just believe it when I see it. Like, once I actually see it happening, then, okay, let's go. Let's go. So, no, sadly, I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting it. But I am still hopeful that we do get a return at some point. Alfie, hello, my friend. I hope you are well. Shout out to you, buds. Hope life's been treating you good, and nice to see you around, my friend. So shout out to you, Alfie. Research with Thomas Flynn said Day's sources say when Punk arrived at the airport, a car was waiting to take him to the hotel, but Punk reportedly sent the car away because the windshield was real glass. Very good. I like it. Nice. Gerald said Tony isn't a real boss. We all know this. Dean said I am ready for tonight. Off Tom said, are you doing a stream Tommy Fury against KSI? That is the plan, but I have not gone far enough yet to see what it collides with. So at the moment, I mean, that is a massive stream. That is a massive show. That is a massive interest to this community. So yes, absolutely yes. But I need to make sure it's just not colliding with like a wrestling show. But that is the plan. Brendan said baby number 2 is expected. What baby, Brendan? What baby, buds? What baby? What baby are we talking about? I Am Famous said AEW is becoming AEW High School with drama. Punk, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, Punk and Jungle Boy, Britt Baker with Thunder Rosa. Yes, you do. I mean, you do get backstage drama. This isn't just like exclusive to AEW. Like, there is drama, and we've had drama in WWE. So, I mean, these are, you know, what was it last year? We had Sasha and Naomi walk out and never return. So, you know, part of it is just wrestling. Part of it is that CM Punk is very hard to manage. But yeah, there's a lot for Tony to have to deal with. And it's always at key times as well, isn't it? It's always at like key moments. Like, they had really got some, or it felt like they had some momentum. Was it All In, All Out? All Out, I think it was, last year. And obviously they ended up getting the Brawl, and it became known as Brawl Out. And so that was kind of like, you know, they couldn't capitalize on the momentum of that show, because really the big story was the suspensions. There was a bit of an interest in the show to see what was going to happen, but that kind of settled down quite quickly. And then things went, in my opinion, quite stagnant, went like flatlined. And so that really sabotaged their momentum, in my opinion, last year. And there is a real danger that the exact same thing is going to happen now, this year, because I spoke about All In during the Raw stream, and the point I was making was that I think that the drama completely overshadowed the show for many people. Like, I was trying to watch the show, and I had more than one eye on Twitter, on Sean Ross Sapp's Twitter feeds, on Fightful Select. I mean, when you hear that there's been a backstage altercation, right? That's not something that you get on a regular basis. It's not like we're tuning into Raw, NXT, Dynamite, SmackDown, and, you know, every other week we're hearing of backstage altercations. Like, it's not a regular thing. It does happen, like Sasha and Naomi, but it's not a regular thing where you hear of backstage altercations. So to hear of that happening at the biggest wrestling show ever in Wembley, a show that we've been talking about and building towards for months and months and months, and then you find out that CM Punk's involved, and then you start to find out the reasons and the fact that it was to do with comments that were made, and it's to do with this glass and all this kind of stuff. Like, this was sort of dripping through. Like, this information was, it's not like everything came out at once and then that was it. Just right, we've got the information, right? Just go back to the show now. Like, these little bits were like trickling out. And then, of course, you're finding out about the car, right? And that's kind of trickling out as well. And there's just little bits that's just really distracting from the show. And I think that is obviously a problem. But the other problem you've got now is that they've been suspended. And so it looks like potentially, unless there's going to be some exceptions made, that it doesn't look like either of them are going to be at the show on Sunday, which is in Chicago. And they're now concerned as to how the fans are going to react to not having CM Punk. Like, you are going to CM Punk's, like, back garden, and all his mates are coming, and everyone there is going to love CM Punk, and you now aren't going to be able to deliver CM Punk. Like, it's unfathomable. It's incredible. It's unfathomable. It's I mean, I just don't know if I can find the words. It's astonishing. I know that, like, bashing Tony Khan is like a really fun thing to do, right? But I think that I do feel for him on this. I do think that we can certainly question what's happening backstage. Is there enough controls in place? Is there enough, like, enforcers back there? Is there people that are, like, trying to, you know, keep the harmony, keep the peace? Like, or is it just the boys managing themselves? Is it just like the lunatics are running the asylum back there? To be honest, I don't work back there, so I can't say. But obviously it feels like it's not quite right. It feels like there's changes that could be implemented, procedures maybe that could be tightened, or, you know. Equally, I think to myself, well, it's CM Punk. I mean, all throughout this, I've said, we know what CM Punk's like, right? No, there's no way that you can make CM Punk out to be an angel and he be completely innocent in this, right? There's no way you can do that. But my approach to this has always been, well, I've known from the very beginning, since the moment he walked into AEW, that he is going to be a challenge, right? So how surprised am I meant to be when he is proving to be a challenge, right? So I can't get my head around, like, how this is happening, because you surely know what you're going to get from CM Punk. You surely know. You surely know. We all know how he walked out on WWE. We all know that he's very outspoken. He's had a big falling out with Colt Cabana, right? We all know these things. So I kind of feel like from the very start, he was someone that you knew that you was going to have to keep a close rein on. But hey, look, here we are. We'll see how it gets dealt with. If anything, it's just fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to observe. It gives us more things to talk about. And, you know, I'm sure that Tony will be the first to admit he's learned a lot of lessons, things that when he started AEW, he didn't know, right? And ways of managing people or things you have to do that he didn't know. I mean, I think he came in, well, clearly inexperienced. To my knowledge, he's never run another company like a wrestling company before. So I think he's come in with a lack of experience. I think he's tried to bring in some people to put around him to kind of plug those gaps, but you're going to have this. You're going to have these types of moments. It's how you respond to them, innit? It's what you do. And so, you know, it's going to be fascinating. Tonight's going to be fascinating. The build towards Sunday will be fascinating. How the show goes without CM Punk in Chicago is going to be fascinating. What we do after as we continue to move forward, you know, because this could be it. CM Punk's apparently said like that he hates this place, and has made noise, and apparently had a go at Tony Khan as well. I was reading that earlier. So, I mean, you've got one of your biggest stars who seems to be at his wit's end here now. Seems to be that it's all starting to get a little bit too much. Pretty soon there might not be a decision to make. A lot of people are saying, would you get rid of CM Punk? Would you keep CM Punk? Might not have a decision to make. CM Punk might get rid of CM Punk. So, yeah. Don't know. There's lots of different ways to look at it. You can look at it as, yeah, it's all going crazy. It's, you know, it's carnage. Or you can look at it as, oh, this is entertaining, isn't it? Oh, this is good. This is juicy. Give me some more of this stuff. I'm liking this stuff. Give me. So, yeah, we'll obviously have to see how tonight goes. Richard said, Asuka targeting Bailey based on her Twitter posts. Richard, shout out to you, bud. I did see that Twitter post. I didn't really make too much of it, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, maybe this is going to be the start of her going after Bailey. Maybe this is going to be the start of a new feud or something. It was just, I can't even remember what the GIF was, but she'd cut out Bailey's face, hadn't she, and dropped it on top of something, and I think it was like Asuka punching her or something. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just a little bit of fun, if it's just a little tease, or if it is going to be the start of something. So we'll find out. We'll find out. Days, people can learn the easy way or the hard way, said Bahamas. He probably guessed that he could have managed CM Punk, so he's learned the hard way. Yeah, I mean, I suppose in life you do have to take gambles, don't you? I mean, he will have had to have weighed up, like, I mean, first of all, he's got to weigh up the amount of money that I'm paying CM Punk. Am I going to get that back in ratings, merch, impact, exposure, engagement, ticket sales, blah, 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 blah. So he's had to weigh that up. And then he's had to weigh up, like, can I manage? Can I control? Can I oversee, like, this person, this personality, this very demanding person, this person that will speak their minds? They don't suffer fools. He'll speak his minds. He's going to put noses out of joint. Like, how am I going to manage that? Like, you know, you've got to weigh that up as well. Like, because you don't want to lose the rest of the locker room. You don't want to upset the locker room. And dropping CM Punk in is very much a recipe of disaster, like, unless you control it and manage it. And so he's had to weigh that up. But sometimes there's just not really a way of knowing, to be honest. I mean, I think that he has got a really good relationship with CM Punk. I think that's shown itself during the press conferences. So I think what Tony's done is I think he's been really nice. I think he's bent over backwards. I think he's tried to do everything he can to help CM Punk. I don't blame him for any of that stuff. He's took the nice guy approach, and he's tried to do everything. And I think what he's hoping is that, you know, a little voice will go off in CM Punk's head saying, "Oh no, don't cause trouble, because I don't want to put this on Tony's plate," you know. But the problem is, I don't think that voice exists. in CM Punk's head. So, like, you know, there's ways that you can go about things. I was very critical of the EVPs going in and confronting CM Punk in his locker room and not going through like proper channels and not dealing with that press conference last year in a more professional manner. I was critical of that. I will be critical of CM Punk because if he has choked Jack Perry, right, and certainly seems like he has, I think we can all agree that's not professional and it's not the correct channels and it's not the right way. So it's, you know, if you're going to hit the EVPs with that, then you've got to hit CM Punk with it now for this incident. Difference being, though, they're EVPs. He's not, right? And so, and also, you know that he is capable of doing such things. You know that he is difficult and challenging, right? But it still doesn't mean that he was in the right to do it. Still doesn't mean that he was correct to, like, you know, grab Jack Perry by the throat, even if he wants to. Like, there has to come a point where you are just the bigger man, where you do deal with situations, but in a professional, mature way, not grabbing him by the throat and trying to choke him out, you know? I'm sure you want to do that. And I'm sure, like, you know, that feels at the time like the right way to do it, but it's not. And all you've gone and done is you've caused trouble for yourself. You've caused trouble for the locker room. I'm not saying that this is all CM Punk's fault. I'm just saying he does have to take some of the blame. So does Jack Perry. Absolutely, Jack Perry has to take some of the blame as well. And we've spoke about that before. So it's very interesting to see how they're going to deal with this. It's very interesting to see what Tony's going to do. I do feel a bit for Tony on this, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, because I think, you know, if you put yourself in Tony's shoes, you would feel comfortable, confident that you could control CM Punk. And then when you actually get it, or get him on board, like it's more challenging than what you think, you know? It's a bit like going, yeah, I could handle, what's the hottest curry you do? Yeah, go on then, I can handle it. I normally go for like a vindaloo and it's not spicy enough, so I'll have whatever your hottest curry is. I mean, that, you know, you're taking a gamble there, aren't you? Taking a gamble. Curry comes, it's too hot for you. You can't cope with it, right? All of a sudden, you know, you're round the back in the bushes and the whole your date is ruined. Right now, Tony Khan is round the back in the bushes. God only knows what he's doing. The noises are horrific. But it turns out that the CM Punk curry was just a little bit too spicy for him. So, but I do feel for him. Because there's not really a way of knowing until you get going with it. So, yeah. Did you see sources told Fightful that AOP are under contract with WWE? I didn't know, but that would be great because I do like those guys. And I think that they would bring some legitimacy to that tag division. Although saying that, we do have Indashia, who just disappeared, didn't they? I know they're going to be doing something for Superstar Spectacular, is it? Is that what it's called? The Indian show. They're taking on Sammy and Kevin, I believe. And actually thinking about it, I don't know when that Indian show is, but thinking about it, doesn't that sort of confirm that Sammy and Kevin are going to be winning at Payback? If the Indian guys are going to take them on in India, I suppose they could without the titles, but chances are they're probably going to take them on for the belts. So I think that probably confirms that Judgment Day aren't winning at Payback. I think, thankfully, I had predicted KO and Sammy to win anyway, but whatever. So, no, if AOP authors Pain come in, that would be cool. Dark Thunder said, do you think AEW will get pressured to put Punk on All Out since it's in Chicago? I think there's pressure anyway, to be honest. I mean, who's going to pressure them? Who's going to pressure them? There's no TV networks involved. It's pay-per-view. Are the fans going to pressure them? I mean, could it be that if he's not there, there's a real risk of a load of refunds? I mean, that would certainly put pressure on. I mean, I've said what I would have done, and it's not what Tony's done. I would have dragged my heels. And to be brutally honest, I won't give a flip what anyone thought. If I am the owner of a multi-million wrestling business and I've got CM Punk, I am going to do an investigation, but because I am currently in the middle of two of my biggest shows, I am not going to suspend either, right? Because I'm just going to keep them apart. I'm going to get through these shows and the investigation can come back, and then I'll take it from there next week. Once you get past this weekend, I mean, I don't think there's been a busier period in AEW history. You've just done the biggest wrestling show for paid attendance ever. And now, like, you go in 1 week later into All Out, which historically is your big show. All Out, historically, is, in my mind, their WrestleMania. I've always thought that it was the closest we had, because this is the one where they do StarCast as well, which is like, that big convention where you can meet the wrestlers and they do all the live podcasts and all that kind of stuff. In a way, it's a bit access, kind of a thing, And to my knowledge, I don't think they do that for any of the others. So, and plus, All Out was the continuation of All In. So All In started it, and then it became All Out. This year, we've gone back to having an All In, and we've still got All Out as well. So, and they're both within a week of each other. So this, I think you could make an argument, is the busiest week that AEW has ever had. I think people would, maybe they wouldn't. Again, I don't care. I think people would understand if you said we're doing an investigation due to the circumstances at the moment. Neither Jack Perry or CM Punk will be suspended because we need to establish what's happened. I don't know. I wasn't there. I honestly don't know who started it, what actually occurred, the severity of it. I've heard the rumors, I've heard the hearsay, but I can't say for certain as to what's happened. So without knowing anything concrete, I'm not in a position to be suspending people. But rest assured, there is, as of right now, a very thorough investigation taking place where we're going to speak to everyone that was there, witnesses, obviously both people as well. That's going to take a little while to conduct, because my understanding is there's several people that were witnesses. And I think actually the timeline of this is a bit bigger than just this show. So again, that's going to complicate things a little bit further. So yeah, ultimately we're hoping to have this wrapped up some point next week, right? People online will be like, oh, they're dragging their heels. They just don't want to suspend him. Yeah, you're damn right. You're damn right. You're absolutely right. That's absolutely what I'm doing. So I've got to get through these shows. I'm not treating either of them differently. Right now they're both suspended. So what difference would it make if neither were suspended? I feel like as long as both are being treated the same, do you know what I mean? Who cares? So right now, my understanding is Jack Perry and CM Punk are suspended, but I would have gone the other way and I wouldn't have suspended either. I would have kept them away from everyone. They would have been isolated. They would have been kept away. And actually, I don't even know if Jack Perry would have been booked on this show. But we know CM Punk definitely would have been. So yeah, maybe the fans are going to demand CM Punk. I'm sure there'll be chants for CM Punk and all this kind of stuff. But really, I think that unless those fans that have bought tickets are going to all now en masse start asking for refunds. But if they do that, would other fans jump in? Are there other fans that aren't as bothered about CM Punk that would go to Chicago and would buy those tickets if they became available. I actually don't even know if the show is sold out or not. I have no idea. But yeah, I can't really see like there being anyone putting pressure on, you know, because ultimately it's Tony's decision. He's the one that steers the ship. So if Tony's decided that both are suspended, then both are suspended. And the only people that can really put pressure on that, as far as I know, would be the people that have bought tickets to All Out. And if they all en masse say, well, if there's no CM Punk, then I ain't going, I want a refund, then, you know, that could put pressure on things. But as I said, would other fans just jump in then? People can learn. Oh, we've read that. People can learn the easy way and the hard way. Wrestler Andy said, the weird thing is, why would you insist on putting yourself through real glass when you could do fake glass? It's not an actual real fight. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why the insistence for real glass. I think that this one was for a statement, to be honest. This one, I think... the other thing as well, if I'm CM Punk, and I've said, you know, so I don't really get how this works, if I'm going to be brutally truthful, right? So Collision is run by Tony Khan and AEW producers, and Jack Perry goes up to them and goes, hello, I would like to do something that uses real glass, please. And they went, no, that's not a good idea, because, you know, we're not looking for real injuries, right? This is like scripted. Thanks, though, right? And then, like, what's he said? What's he done? What has he done then? Has he gone, well, screw you, I ain't going to listen to you? And then he's gone and got some glass. And then what, as the producers and the people that actually steer the ship, the people that actually pay his wages, have they gone, oh, he's not listening to us, we better get CM Punk to have a word? CM Punk, can you have a word with Jack Perry? Because he won't listen to us. And CM Punk's gone, listen, you douche, you ain't using real glass, right? You ain't using real glass. And he's gone, oh, but I wanna, like that. And he's moped off, right? And CM Punk's like, oh, kids. And then we've got to Wembley. And then, like, for some reason, this real glass has been used in the windscreen. And then, obviously, he's gone to the camera and gone, yeah, it's real glass. Cry me a river. And all of this, right? The producers of that match must have known that that vehicle was going to be used, right? I can't believe that they fought on the roof and suplexed each other into, or power slammed each other into the windscreen, right? Broke the windscreen, dented the roof. I mean, they did some damage to that car. I can't believe that no one was spoken to about that. Like, I can't believe the producers were not aware that was going to happen. I can't imagine backstage they were like, have you seen what they're doing to this car? Did you know they were going to do this to this car? I can't believe there was any shock, right? It feels like all of this was planned. So if I'm CM Punk, right? Yeah, I'm upset at Jack Perry, but I am also upset with the producers of that match, because they must have known that this was going to happen, and they must have known that that glass was real. And if they didn't, then they ain't done their job. And so that's a whole different conversation, right? If you're going to plan out a match with a vehicle, right, you need to make sure that vehicle is safe for whatever it is the wrestlers want to do to it, right? I mean, I would imagine that I'm just guessing here, but I would imagine in this day and age, there would need to be a degree of a risk assessment of some degree carried out, right, on the vehicle. Like, you can do this, you can't do that type situation, right? And so they've done the spot with the windscreen. Why is the producer allowed real glass? Ultimately, Tony Khan has allowed real glass. And because, again, like, surely everything gets his sign off. So, and maybe he was too busy to sign it off, so someone else has done it on his behalf, right? So I'm actually not going to put it on Tony Khan, but that match will have had a producer. I do put it on that producer. I'd love, when I said there's more people involved in this is what I mean, right? The producer of that match is very much involved in this. I would also, and maybe Tony would have got this answer anyway by now, but as I said, I actually don't know what happened on Collision with the real glass. I want to use it and all that kind of stuff. I'd want to get some clarity on all that as well. Like, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm like, right, how did this start? Take me right back to the beginning, right? The very beginning. How did this start, right? If you have to start with CM Punk's mother, loved CM Punk's father, they had a special evening, CM Punk was born 9 months later, I don't care, right? I want to totally understand this whole situation. I want to get my head around it, because there are elements of this story that I can't quite get my head around. And as Wrestle with Andy just said there, like, one of them very much is, why does Jack Perry want to use real glass in the first place? Why does he want to use real glass in the first place? These are wrestlers that are competing on a weekly basis, right? And so if you're going to use real glass, you're going to cut yourself open. You're going to have to heal from that. Surely this is just limiting your ability to be effective in the ring. I mean, what? I don't understand. You could use fake glass, which will still give the effect. And all right, maybe you won't be cut to ribbons, but good. Good. I'm pleased you won't be cut to ribbons, because like that means you can do the match, you can do whatever the spot is you want to do, and you won't be cut to ribbons, and you'll be able to go home in one piece. And guess what? You'll be good for next week when I need you for something else next week, right? What if you flipping go through that mirror or that window and nick an artery, right? What if a shard of glass from this real glass like shreds your arm up? And actually, at the end of Jack Perry's match, wasn't he like this? Wasn't he like, I seem to remember that he did actually mess up his arm. I seem to remember that like he was like bleeding, and like he was really, maybe he was just selling, maybe it was just a bit of selling, but I seem to remember him doing like, really holding it and really like not seemingly to be in a great place. I think it's one of those where like you tell a child don't do something and then they do it and they hurt themselves and you go, I did tell you. Do you think that's what's actually happened with a grown adult at the biggest wrestling event of all time? Is this honestly what we're dealing with? Is this honestly the situation we find ourselves in where this is happening? Because I mean, what the flip? What the flip? What the flip? But again, I do have to just say, like, this is wrestling. There are plenty of incidents that happen backstage, right? So this isn't like just an AEW thing, but it's just right now this is an AEW thing right now. They're the ones that are having to deal with this. But yeah, the Jack Perry stuff doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I don't understand. Godfather's host said Days dropping that awesome Kong acid. GM Punk not in Chicago. Will there be riots or very loud GM Punk chants? RIP ODB and her boom booms. Wardlow versus Goldberg. Main event all out. Thank you, Godfather's Ho. So I think we've touched on that. Will there be riots? It's hard to say because I think that the Chicago audience have been very well served. CM Punk, to be honest. I feel like CM Punk's in Chicago wrestling pretty much every other week. So I'm sure they've bought tickets and people have bought tickets to see CM Punk. But I've got to think if you live in Chicago, you've had ample opportunity to see CM Punk now. So maybe some people will have flown in, and maybe those people will be upset. Maybe there will be some CM Punk hardcores that, you know, literally will just go and watch CM Punk every day of their lives if they could. Maybe they will kick off, but by and large, I mean, if this was the first time we were seeing him or the first time he was going to Chicago, I think then I'd be a little bit more, yeah, man, it's going to go. It's going to kick off because you've teased CM Punk, you've promised CM Punk, and you're not going to be able to deliver it. Like, but the fact that we've been to Chicago so often, the fact that surely these people have seen him by now, are they going to be just all right with him not being there once, you know? Are they going to be all right with it just being like, guess what? You're just going to have to make do with the rest of the roster. You're just going to have to make do with the rest of the show. And if you don't want to, just get a refund. I don't know. I don't know that this is going to result in riots. I don't know that it's going to result in riots. It may result in some refunds. But I don't even think it's going to be like everyone getting a refund. Because as I said, I think they've been very well served of CM Punk. But I don't know. Look, this is definitely something that Tony's going to be nervous about. In no way is he going to want to have mass refunds on his hands. So I would imagine he's looking very closely at those numbers. L. Sean said, I think there are wrestlers in AEW who want to knock Punk down a peg because of their own egos, regardless of how the actions affect AEW as a whole. Michael, shout out to you. All elementary wrestling, said Bonkers. WCVLA said, I think they need to do CM Punk versus Jack Perry versus Miro in a triple threat. K-pop lover said AEW is a toddler school. Aubrey, shout out to you, says Tony Khan built a bomb and he watched it explode. Now instead of fixing things, he's reassembled the same bomb, added a few nails, and he's watched it explode again. Yeah, but it does sound fun though. The way you've worded it there, it does sound fun. Trini said, how is Perry wanting to use real glass more crazy than them taking a razor blade to their heads to fake bleed? The sport is crazy. Well, the only thing I would say is that a razor blade to the forehead, I mean, I don't know of arteries that are like up here. I mean, there could be, I don't know. But like blading around the forehead on the hairline, I mean, that's been done for a long time. You know, blading, it's got its own term, hasn't it? Yeah, as you said, it's a crazy sport where that is something that happens where people blade to get color. But being slammed into real glass, into a windscreen of real glass where, I mean, you are bringing into play not just your hairline on your head, or not just like the side here, or do you know what I mean? Like, you're not just nicking a little part of your face. Like, you're bringing in your whole back, your neck, your arms, your shoulders. I mean, like all of the. If you're gonna slam someone down onto a windscreen, like you're bringing all of this into play. It's mental. I don't understand it. I don't even really understand how you can control where you're going to get hurt, you know? With a blade, you're going to get hurt wherever you decide to cut yourself. That's where you're going to get hurt. Being slammed onto a windscreen, how do you control where you get hurt on that? Like, I would imagine there's a lot more risk, and it like there's a lot more chance, and I don't know. I can't find the words. I'm just staggered at why it happened. I don't know, and I don't know why it was signed off. This is what I'm saying. I don't know why the producer allowed it to happen anyway. If the producer of the match had turned around and gone, "You can't use real glass, you muppet," right? No, we'll sort fake glass. We can get some fake glass sorted, right? If we'd have done that, we wouldn't have had this problem at all. If everyone was just singing from the same hymn sheet, if everyone was just on the same page, even if Jack Perry wasn't, but if everyone else was, this wouldn't have happened. Because unless he would have smuggled in some of his own real glass and then cut himself for real using some glass that he's brought in, then that windscreen shouldn't have been made of real glass, because they would have swapped it out. So I don't know. I don't know why it's happened. I don't know how it's been allowed to happen. I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered here. Let's go down. Days, drop in that awesome Kong acids. Oh, we read that one. Jono said windshields have a protective film on them. They don't shatter like glass. The way they hit the glass shatters, but it holds together. That is true. Like, the way windscreens work is that they don't shatter, but my understanding is that they do still fragment, and so I believe there are still like rough edges. So even though there is a film that's over it, what that film prevents are shards of glass kind of coming at you if you're sat in the driver's seat. But actually, if there is a broken windshield, I think if you used to run your hand over it, I think that you would feel that it is not smooth, because obviously underneath that film there is broken glass and there are the shards. So that film just prevents the stuff from flying everywhere. So if you get slammed into it, you're still going to have, granted, probably not shards going into your hand, going into your body, right? But you are still going to be exposed to rough edges, and you are still going to be exposed to like broken glass. So, and I think it was that spot that did result in him cutting his arm open. He was bleeding, unless he got slammed on that and then he bladed as well. I'd have to go back and have a look, and I don't even know if that's all covered on all the various angles. So my understanding is that he got cut on the windscreen, but I do concede that it could have been that part went fine and then he bladed. So, but again, all of that would have to come out. All of that would have to come out in the investigation. AEW need locker room leaders. It makes me wish that Undertaker and Brock were part of the roster for that reason. Notorious Nightmare said Punk is trying to be the locker room leader. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea at all. I definitely would not be making CM Punk the locker room leader. I mean, he is a wise head. He's been there, he's done it. And actually, I think he does enjoy giving advice to the younger talent. I don't believe him to be someone that if the younger talent that's looking for advice is going to go and speak to him and ask him for, like, can you give me some tips? I don't believe him to be someone that's going to be moody, push him away, like, leave me alone, kid, like, type stuff. I think he is someone that would be there to give them some words of encouragement, give them some advice, give them some tips and whatever. There is a double-edged sword to that, though, and that is that if he's going to do that for you and he's going to give you that wisdom, right? If you then completely shun it and go in a different direction, he's going to be a bit put out. He's going to be a little bit, you know what I mean? He's going to be a little bit not crazy about you as a person, because he's gone out of his way to give you some advice. So, yeah, I don't think he's a locker room leader, but I do think he's someone that can. He's been there, he's done it. He's one of the biggest wrestlers of this generation. I think he is someone that should be listened to, and someone that I actually think he's someone that could steer Collision into a very interesting place. I think he could take the company AEW to an interesting place. This is a guy that was there for some of Ring of Honor's best moments, and he is loved by wrestling fans. Now, granted, there's a real split in the AEW fan base, but if he was kind of really kind of the guy that was seen as not the locker room leader, because you do need someone else to do that role, but he was seen as it's what Punk says sort of a situation. Punk's to all intents and purposes an EVP, if you will, right? He's got some extra powers. He's got a real voice. Like Tony really listens to him type stuff. I think you could get somewhere really, really good. I mean, I've got to think that he sort of has that. I've got to think that, if there's something he wants to do, Tony will listen. And, they will look to try and make that happen for him. Like, he'll work with the people he wants to work with, and he'll do the stories he wants to do. And, all I've heard is that Collision has been a really solid show. It's been a really good show. It's, dare I say, and I think I'm going to upset some AEW fans here, but dare I say it's the show that AEW should have been from the start. We heard about this sports-based presentation. We've heard that apparently AEW is wrestling compared to WWE, that's sports entertainment. I see Sue pulling up during a match, right? And in a car and all this kind of stuff. And I'm being told that this isn't sports entertainment, apparently. But the point I'm making is that I think Collision is actually the show that that's the product we were sold. That's the product that we was, believing that we were getting from the start with Dynamite. And everything I've heard from people is that Collision's a really good show. It's a really good show. And I believe it. I believe people when they tell me that. I believe it. I think that Dynamite is very hit and miss. I think Dynamite definitely, I fully expect this tonight. Call me stupid, right? But I think that tonight could be a good show. I'm coming into it with positivity. I'm coming into it with optimism. I always try to do that. And I'm doing it because I think that, it's a go-home show. But I think this is a go-home show where we've really got to get some stuff done. We've really got to get some stuff done tonight. And so I think that we need to make sure that we get the cards booked to all intents. People need to know what they're tuning into this weekend. So I think we need to get the card done. We need to obviously progress the stories from Sunday just gone. We need to find a way of either setting them up for things for next week's Dynamite or setting them up for things for this Sunday's All Out. So there's a lot. Every segment's got a lot of pressure on it. You've got 2 hours tonight. 2 hours. And I think that you can fill those 2 hours comfortably with significant segments. So I've got a lot of optimism for tonight. But I don't think it's unfair to say that Dynamite has been a bit hit and miss. I think that's shown in the ratings, in the sense of, I think a lot of those casuals have made their mind up now. They've seen enough to say, I'm going to stick with this, or no, this isn't for me. Hence why week after week after week after week after week, the Dynamite numbers have been about 850, 870, around that kind of ballpark, sometimes 812, 810. So, I think we're not seeing that same fluctuation anymore. I think people have sort of made their minds up of, this is for me or it's not for me. I've seen enough now. I think that Collision, that if Punk was steering the ship and was kind of helping that show get its tone right, I think that's the show that I want to see Dynamite become. I want to see Dynamite become that show. I want to see 2 collisions. I want to see one on a Saturday and one on a Wednesday. And then I'd be really interested to see what AEW does. So, look, all this backstage drama, it's sort of good because, you know, listen, we've just spoke about it for an hour and it's all over the internet and everyone's talking about it and it's trending and all this kind of stuff. And they say that no news is bad news. All PR is good PR. And so AEW have just done the biggest show, paid show that's ever happened. And they've just had loads of people talking about them, like for the past few days as well. So it's good in that regards. It's bad because obviously there's suspensions. Obviously there's a lack of harmony. Obviously you are taking big hits to your momentum because, you know, what can you do with Punk? And not only that, but I think was Ricky Starks meant to work with Punk. And now, like, all of a sudden we're in the dark of if Punk goes, what do you do with Ricky Starks when Ricky Starks comes back? And what do you do with the planned stories you had for Jack Perry? What do you do for the planned stories you had for CM Punk? All of a sudden, that's got to be ripped up and rewritten. Who's going to spearhead Collision on a Saturday if Punk is suspended for a long period of time? Or he walks out, or he gets fired? What do you do with Collision? Who spearheads that show? Because I don't think that FTR, as great as they are, have got the name power, the name recognition to really take that show anywhere that it isn't already. You know, if you lose CM Punk, you're losing one of the most recognizable names in wrestling for this generation. And I just don't think FTR come anywhere remotely close to the name recognition that CM Punk has, because of everything CM Punk has achieved and, you know, the years and years and years that we've spent talking about CM Punk. Who's going to fill that void? So it's there's pros, there's cons, and there's big decisions that need to be made. J Love said it's true. It gives them press, but it also shows Tony has got no control and CM Punk is a huge problem. Sakila said Tony will send Orange Cassidy to be the face if Punk is out for a long time. If you lose CM Punk, those Collision ratings will be brutal, said Gerald, especially with college football. There's a chance that they'll be brutal anyway, won't they, with like college football? I mean, college football, I know, is so popular in America that, you know, there's a chance that that would be really brutal anyway, even with CM Punk. So, yeah, it'll get even harder if he's not around. But listen, Tony has got these are the big boy decisions that you've got to make if you've got your own wrestling company. This is the stuff you've got to deal with. And I think it's fair to say that there is no way forward that is going to please everyone. There is no way forward. You just have to do what you think is the right thing to do. You sit down with your HR department. There'll be precedents for things that you'll want to stick with and follow. So they'll give you advice as to, well, you know, this has happened before. We've done this. This is, you know, if this happens, because when it comes to companies, if this happens, this is how we respond, right? That's what a precedent is. So it means that you can have consistency because you don't want to treat anyone different. You don't want this to happen, but you do. You fire them, but then this person does it and they get suspended for a week. Like, you want to make sure that you've got that consistency. So you will be looking at previous cases. You will be working with the HR department, but by and large, you know, Tony's going to have to make the ultimate decision, and it's going to be very interesting to see what he decides. It's going to be very interesting to see what he decides. And it'd be interesting to see if anything changes backstage with personnel as well. As we said, you know, it feels like someone needs to be keeping all these people in check. And I can't give you the name as to who that person is. I don't know if there is a person that's doing that. There needs to be. Right, let's go over to AEW then. As we said, looking forward to seeing what they have got in store for us. Nothing for us to break down. which is a shame. Normally there's a graphic, unless they have put a graphic out whilst I was talking, but I don't think they have. Here we go. Tony Khan says Chris Statlander, Britt Baker, and Hikaru Shida taking on Nyla Rose, Emi Sakura, and Marina Shafir. Trios action tonight. Okay. Oh, let's turn this down a little bit loud. John Moxley against Commander. That's coming up tonight. Trios match coming up tonight. New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. Eddie Kingston against Wheeler Yuta. Due to minor illness to big travel. No, hang on, what's this? Due to minor illnesses to big talent traveling this week. Plus, Hurricane. I don't know how you pronounce that. I don't know how you pronounce it. The Hurricane, right? Affecting flights. I've changed the plans for Dynamite tonight. What I will say, fair play to him. Fair play. He's saying this is not the show I had planned, but due to some illnesses and the hurricane, I've had to change a few things. I got respect for that. I got respect for that. Coming off All In, AEW's greatest night and the most tickets sold for any wrestling show. Expect a great Dynamite tonight. So, okay. So if we see some stuff tonight, like I'm going to say that women's trios match. If you see some stuff where you go, really? At least we know this isn't the show that he had planned, right? This isn't what he was intending on doing. So I can respect that. I can get with that. I hope everyone's safe with that hurricane as well, because it's quite unusual for us to hear about, weather that's happening in America. So the fact that it has made news over here, tells me that it's pretty serious. And I hope that everyone's staying safe. So Tony saying that he's had to change the plans tonight. Eddie Kingston against Wheeler Yuta. Women's trios match. John Moxley against Commander is what we've got. I think we're in Chicago tonight, actually. Let's change this over. Change this back to Dynamite. Yeah, I think this is Chicago tonight. Chicago flag. John Moxley. I was looking to see if there was any CM Punk signs, but can't see anything. Can't see. Oh, CM Punk no flips. Didn't see what that said. Said CM Punk no flips. Amanda making his way down. Interesting first match. This is this. I know he said he's got to change the show. He is starting with John Moxley. Is this the right thing to keep viewers around? If I don't know what's just been on, like say it's Big Bang Theory, right? Are they going to look at this match between John Moxley and Commander and think to themselves, "Yeah, let's stick with this"? Is this strong enough to keep people around? Ooh, that sign said CM Punk no flips, just fits. So it looks like that's a sign that's just throwing a little bit of shade. Little bit of shade. And I think this is Chicago? I think this is Chicago. Now Arena, Illinois. Yeah. Well, Now Arena in Illinois, wherever that is. So I would imagine this, you know, we're in Illinois, so I would imagine this to be a pro CM Punk crowd. So far I've seen that one sign, no flips, just fits. James, shout out to you, buds. Shout out to you. Right, I do need to get to all these super chats and things. WrestleBuzz, shout out to you, my friend. Said, Days, hope all is well. Doing good, thank you. Yeah, doing good. Busy day, but that's how I like it. And yeah, you know, it's been a bit of a, you know, we streamed on Friday. We had the Bray News Thursday. We streamed on Friday. We streamed on Saturday. We streamed on Sunday. We streamed Monday. We streamed Tuesday. We streamed Wednesday. So yeah, I'm definitely up for not streaming. Oh no, I am. I was going to say I'm definitely up for not streaming tomorrow. Got a member stream, haven't we? But yeah, I'm doing good, WrestleBuzz. Thank you. Actually, I might see you there, WrestleBuzz. Cameron said, I saw PW Insider say that Miro and Punk altercation was false and that it was actually them just having fun. In my opinion, people need to stop spinning stuff. Well, I mean, to be honest, I think people don't really know the full picture because, you know, there was only certain people that are there. So it's all going to be he said, she said, isn't it? So, yeah. You're just having to kind of share your thoughts on what you think from what you've heard, but what you've heard may not be true. So hence why, you know, hopefully we find out, you know, what the investigation found. It would be good if we could get some insight on that. I don't know that we ever will, but these things have a habit of getting out eventually. John Moxley in control at the moment. So Cameron, shout out to you. Matt Carney said Tony is pondering the slaughter of 10% of the roster as a warning to the rest of the dressing room. Is this an overcorrection and might it backfire? Well, I mean, first of all, he's not going to be cutting 10% as a warning. Second of all, I mean, it's not happening. So that's it. It's not happening. I mean, that's the kind of thing that Vince would do, innit? I've said before, like, contracts are there to be honored. But we're on the outside of the ring. James said, AEW Dynamite, let's go. WWE Stars Bray tribute on YouTube. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't get a chance to watch it all, but I saw the Bailey one at the start, and it was nice. She said, I don't know where this is going to be shown. I don't know if it's on social media, on the shows, or if it just goes to the family, which I thought was quite interesting. Because I didn't ever really consider that they sent them to the family. You know, every time we see those kind of heartfelt video messages, it must be that they combine them into a video and send them off to the family. Because otherwise, why would she mention it? I don't know. I thought that was quite interesting. But yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't on the TV show. Instead, it was just put together in a compilation and put on YouTube. But Bailey, Drew, I didn't watch them, but I did just skim through to see who was talking. Byron Saxton, I think, was on there. And others. But yeah, I will look at it. I will have a look at it. You have to let me know if it was any good. I mean, not that it matters. But if there was like some good, interesting points or stories or, you know. Mitchell said it's pronounced Idaliu. Luckily, my part of Florida didn't get hit too bad, but there is some record storm surge in other parts. Mitchell, I'm really pleased that your part of America didn't get part of Florida got hit bad. Hopefully, it's just hit the swamps. Hopefully, it just went after the swamps and didn't trouble any actual houses and homes. But it's known for it, innit? You know, I think if you were living in Florida, I think you've faced these types of situations before. Doesn't make it any easier though. So yeah, hope everyone is safe. Big Al, shout out to you, my friends. Appreciate the support. As we said, we're going to look to do a members stream tomorrow where we'll do a watch along, and definitely interested in doing some regular ones of those. Well, I keep getting asked for different watch alongs, so we'll have a little look at that. Forearm strikes coming in by Commander, but we are doing Payback 2020 tomorrow. Clothesline by Commander. Another clothesline coming in. Aubrey, the referee for this one. If you are just joining us, it was mentioned by Tony on social media that this isn't the planned Dynamite that he had. There's been some illnesses, don't know who. And as well as that, the hurricane has disrupted travel. So as a result, we've got a bit of a hodgepodge episode of Dynamite. But they're still going to have to, you know, build the show. Even if certain stars aren't there, they're still going to have to build all out. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that if certain people aren't there. Commander has got Moxley on his shoulders. Double knees there by Commander. Aubrey count in and a kick out by Moxley. Corey said, what is more dangerous, AEW Backstage or the NXT parking lot? It's got to be NXT parking lot, isn't it? Because I think that's affected a lot more people. Oh, yeah, I think the AEW Backstage has got a little way to go yet to match the NXT parking lot. It's doing its best though. It's desperately trying to catch up. It's doing well. It's a very close second. Pile driver by Moxley. That might be it. No. Commander kicks out. Moxley throwing in some elbows. And now he's got a choke applied. Commander is trapped in the middle of the ring. Commander trying to get out of this. And armbar, and immediately Commander taps. Commander taps. Moxley wins. Biggers is a bully. What does that mean? What's that sign mean? Biggers is a bully. Book the women's division. I'll read these signs. Still to come, Orange Cassidy against Penta. Look in my eyes. What do you see? Where is Jack Perry? Look in my eyes. What do you see? Where is Jack Perry? Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. It's my birthday, says that little girl. Happy birthday. All right, Moxley jumps over the railing, heads to the back. Now we're seeing a video package for Orange Cassidy. Gerald said, AEW love making their champions qualify for pay-per-views. That is true, actually. Orange Cassidy said, after one of the most brutal matches of my life in front of a ton of people at Wembley Stadium, you'd think I would stop, but that's not what I do. Okay. Orange Cassidy still to come tonight. Mercedes was going to sign, but CM Punk challenged her to a fist fight and both were suspended, says Corey. Are you streaming All Out? We are streaming All Out, yes. My expectations for All Out are much, much lower than they were going into All In. And in fact, we don't even know a card at the moment. There's a few matches that have been announced. But I think All Out will just be just something fun to watch on Sunday. FTR coming into the locker room. We put our heart and soul into today's match. We want to show you respect, says FTR. You guys were the better men tonight. We're in the dressing room. It's kind of fun to see inside the Wembley dressing room, actually. So Bullet Club Gold are here, and they said this is the winner's room. So they're asking the Bucks to leave. Seems like the Elite aren't doing so well, says Switchblade. Is this building towards like FTR and the Bucks against Bullet Club Gold? Next week, yeah. All that. Oh, right. Okay. So that's actually going to be another match. So it's going to be Bucks and FTR against Bullet Club Golds. All four of you can lose together at All Out. Okay. Bit random. But FTR and Young Bucks teaming up to take on Bullet Club Golds. Bit random, but it'll be a good match. Won't it? I like Bullet Club Golds. I like FTR. Maybe what they should do with Punk is have him be part of the broadcast team for All Out and not have him wrestle, then suspend him, send him on vacation for a bit, says John. Sounds like the unprofessional EVPs are crying again, said Travis. Austin, hello. Hope you are well. Orange Cassidy officially main eventing, said Gerald. Right. One match down. John Moxley against Commander has been and gone. We found out another match for AEW All Out. And now we've got nothing. Commercial break? Commercial break. Commercial break. Joe said Tony should just change the name to PWG and get it over with. Commercial break. I feel bad for FTR, said Travis. David, hello, shout out to you. Jericho leaving boots in the ring tonight, said Samantha. I would be surprised. If you were going to leave boots in the ring, wouldn't you do it at Wembley? If he does try to leave boots in the ring, then I feel confident that it's going to be interrupted by Don Callis, and it's going to be an angle. Yeah, because I think if you was going to retire, surely Wembley would be where you'd leave your boots. Coach Co said, in the land of dreams where we lay our heads, tickle pee in bed, it's the laughter spread, giggles in the night like stars overhead, a playful secret shared between us. It's sad. Shaquem said, how's your dog? She's all right. She's all right. She's a bit mopey at the moment, actually. I don't know. I think she wants, like, playing with, but, like, just hard to find time at the moment. So she goes for walks and everything, but I don't know, she seems a bit moody. Got a moody dog at the moment. So gonna have to give her a bit of attention tomorrow. Throw the ball around in the garden. She'll pick up. She'll be all right. Samantha Irvin did a beautiful tribute. She sang "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands," says James. That's nice. That's nice. Esteban said, another boots in ring angle this soon after Billy Gunn. Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about boots in rings from Jericho. I just think if he's going to do it, I would be leaning towards it not being a real retirement. But I think they did advertise him for later, so we'll see. Big Time Baxter, shout out to you, said, do you think tonight is an important rating for AEW coming off a massive stadium? This could be their last big shot at getting people's attention for AEW, at least for a long time. No, I don't think it's important. I think that it'll be interesting. I think that there will... I'm struggling to predict it, to be honest, as to what it will do. I think there was a lot of attention on the show. I could see this Dynamite doing well, but then saying that, I think you've started with Moxley and Commander, which is not the most gripping of openings. I think that the matches that have been announced as well they don't feel essential. And in all fairness, to Tony, he said that the reason why is because of the hurricane and because of some illnesses. So this isn't the show that he had planned. So it's unfortunate, of all the Dynamites to suffer from the hurricane disruption and from illnesses, you could make the argument that this really is not the Dynamite that you would want to be affected by those things, So... I do feel a bit sorry for him again, Some of these things are just out of your control. They're just out of your control. I mean, Jack Perry, CM Punk being suspended, all this drama with the hurricane and the illnesses. So I don't know. I can't quite figure out how this is going to play out ratings-wise. It'll be very interesting to find out. But no, I don't think this is essential. Tony says she's happy for Saraya. I'm stood here with no title, no friends. Wembley went tits up. I can't trust Saraya. I can't trust anyone. Did she throw her shoes? Here's Jericho. So, the reason why I don't think this is, essential is because if they are bringing in Mercedes... the buzz that will generate. Sasha Banks about to make her debut in AEW. I mean, gotta think that that alone that'll grab people's attention. Here's Jericho. Let's change this over. So Jericho making his way down to the ring. He did push Sammy away, didn't he? So Jericho was frustrated, they're saying on commentary. Honestly, who throws a shoe, said Travis. Jericho in the ring. Mitchell said, what kind of man throws his shoe? Honestly. I didn't really get why she threw her shoes, to be honest. I didn't quite understand. Hi, Chris. Sign. Someone in the crowds. Okay, smile on Jericho's face as the crowd sing Judas. Chris Jericho about to address the fans. Jericho looking out at the AEW fans. Jericho chants. Well, it certainly seems like the crowd are with him. Crowd. We should be happy. After just a few days ago, the spectacle of All In at Wembley Stadium. One of the greatest weekends of my professional career, says Jericho. Over 81,000 tickets sold, and that number is shoot. It's a show I'll never forget, says Jericho. There is something I would like to forget, and that's how I treated my brother, Sammy Guevara. So he's asking Sammy to come down to the ring. Yeah. Don't know where they're going with this. Bort Lesser said, Days, how's it going? Hope you're well, my friend. Got a question. Who's on Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, past or present? It's a bit tricky because, like, are we talking about a Mount Rushmore of wrestlers for who I think should be on there, or wrestlers that, for me, because they're different, they're different. So, like, if we're talking about wrestlers that should be on there, then, you know, I'm thinking about, like, Luthez. I'm thinking about maybe, like, well, certainly Ric Flair. I'm thinking you could make an argument for Edge Strangler Lewis. You could make an argument for Gorgeous George. You could make certainly an argument for Stone Cold. You could make an argument for Hulk Hogan. There's a few names like that that you can make an argument for. For me personally, I would go. Who's had the biggest impact on my Undertaker? Shawn. Undertaker, Shawn. Think about it. I think Undertaker, Shawn are always my top two. But I have to think about the other two. Jericho, so Sammy's in the ring. I should never have pushed you, and I apologize. So Jericho puts his hand out. Sammy's looking at the hand. Is Sammy gonna shake the hand? He does, yeah. I always have your back, says Sammy. And they embrace. Maybe I should have zigged instead of zag. I keep playing the Osprey match Maybe you could have hit him harder with the baseball bat. This feels a little bit like I'm watching a rehearsal. You effed up chant from the crowds. Maybe if you'd hit him a little harder with the Judas effect, says Sammy. So these two arguing about who is to blame. How did you envision? So Sammy said, I left my pregnant wife in Orlando to fly over to have your back. Okay. I love Sammy, but this ain't it, said Gerald's. If I wasn't so worried about having your back, then maybe I could have wrestled on that show. There's a dude in the front row, by the way, that's wearing a green shirt, like green shirt guy. Only his is like a different shade of green. I'll follow you. I'll make sure to follow your advice so that I can make sure I don't lose on the biggest show we've ever done. Okay, so these two are just exchanging barbs at the moment. Big Larry Call said, get CM Punk on already. Maybe we could cut Punk from the roster for more opportunities for real wrestlers, said Jonathan. NH said they are so convinced Sammy having a kid will get him over because Sammy is the first ever dad, said NH. That green shirt guy is a failed clone. Austin said, Days, if you didn't cheat on me, we could have been married by now. That's all I ever wanted, really. That's all I ever wanted. I was just scared of commitment. I see that now. We've got Sammy and Jericho face to face. Hold on. Hold up. Hold on. It's getting out of control. It's getting out of hand. We've been together since day one. Let's reunite the sex gods. Let's not throw barbs at each other. So he wants to go after being tag team champions. Okay, they shake hands. Seems like Sammy is all right with that. The sex gods are going to try and become tag team champions, but clearly there's some issues there. That segment feels to me like a segment that I don't know was originally planned. I sort of felt like I was watching the rehearsal. Like they just sort of like, I don't think there was much time for them to go through. Maybe there was a little bit of improvisation, or the whole thing was being improvised, and they just had a bit of a skeleton like structure as to what it is that they were trying to achieve. It's you know, I think that there wasn't really those moments where they throw a line out and then they like look at them and you go, "Oh." It was just like, I just felt like I was watching two people just talking, just in a pub having a conversation. It's hard to be critical because we know that this is not the show that was planned. So there's every chance that that segment was going to be completely different. There's every chance that what we just saw there was not, you know, was not intended. Right, Blackpool Combat Club are making their way down to the ring. Feel free to put in your Mount Rushmores. Bort Lesnar says, or asked me what my Mount Rushmore was, past or present. If I'm going to go for my personal one, and I have been thinking about it whilst that was on, I would go with Undertaker. I think he's the greatest character gimmick that we've ever had. I would go with Shawn Michaels. I think he's the best in-ring wrestler. I wouldn't say technically wise, because I think you've got to have a real argument for Bret Hart. And I think you'd have an argument maybe for Daniel Bryan. I really enjoyed Daniel Bryan's run, but it was very short, actually. He's you know, he has that run. It builds up to WrestleMania 30, and then he gets injured. Daniel Bryan would be really close to my Mount Rushmore, actually. I really like Daniel Bryan. I really like Sammy right now. I feel like Sammy is kind of my Daniel Bryan of, you know, the current product. I really like Gunther, but it feels quite early for Gunther, even though he's about to, you know, break that records. So I've gone with Shawn. I think he's the best storyteller. I've gone with Undertaker. I think he's the best gimmick. I love Bruno. I've always loved Bruno. Since I found out about Bruno, there's something special about Bruno. Bruno Sammartino. When I was a kid, I was getting videotapes from Car Boots, and so you learn about like Hulk Hogan, and you learn about Ultimate Warrior, and you know, at the time some of these were on TV, some of these weren't, and so you learn about them all. And it blew my mind when I found out that there was someone that had held the title for like 7 years, and he had been champion pretty much throughout the 60s. And then he got a second run where he held the title for like 4 years in the 70s. And it's just, if WrestleMania had started 20 years earlier, it's crazy to think how many times Bruno would have main evented. I feel like Bruno is this massive star. They could not have loved him more in New York. They could not have loved him more. And you can make the argument that without Bruno, nothing else follows. You know, nothing else follows. The success of Bruno was so big, it was so strong, it was so powerful that it got them through the 60s, it got them through the 70s, and it got them to the 80s where Vince Jr. takes over, and then bang, we get WrestleMania and we're off to the races, right? But, you know, in order for them to get that far, it was built on the back of Bruno Sammartino. So, and others, you know, it's not just Bruno, of course, but he plays arguably the biggest part. And I'm just fascinated by Bruno. I got his book. I read all about how he was, you know, hiding from the Nazis. It's a crazy story. I'm sure you've heard of it. There's a documentary. You've got to watch it if you've not seen it. It's so interesting. How the Nazis came to his town, his village, and he went up to the mountains with his mom and his brothers, and you know, his mom would have to go down every few days to try and get some food and go back up to the mountains. And when she went, they didn't know if they would ever see her again, because if she got caught, there was every chance that she'd be killed. And they found them, and they were about to kill them. And I forget, something prevented it. Something prevented them from being shot by these Nazis that did discover them in the mountains. It's mental. And from there, they moved to America. Bruno got picked on. Because he was being picked on, he started working out, started building muscle. Then all of a sudden, he's breaking records. He becomes a strong man. Starts breaking like bench records and everything. From there, like someone spots him and goes, "Did you ever think about being a wrestler?" And then he gets into wrestling. It's an amazing story, amazing. So I've just got this real affection, this real love for Bruno Sammartino, for everything that he went through. The fact that he went from hiding in the mountains from the Nazis, almost being killed, almost dying of starvation and illness just anyway. He went from that to WWF champion for like 7 years in Madison Square Garden. Like, man, isn't that the American dream? That's the American dream, in it, where you can do anything if you work hard, put your mind to it. You know, he's gone from that to that. What a story, man. And so important to the history of WWE as well. So, yeah, Bruno, I would have to put Bruno on there. And the other one I was debating, man. The other one was hard. But I think I've settled on Macho Man. I love his attire. I love him and Elizabeth. I love his match at WrestleMania 3. I love the story with Hogan, the feud with Hogan. I love his match with Ric Flair. You know, when he went on commentary, I was waiting for him to get back in the ring. I just think he's got some of the most iconic promos. He's got some of the most iconic ring gear. He's had some of the best matches. I mean, you can't talk about the best WWE matches without talking about WrestleMania 3 against Ricky Steamboat or WrestleMania 8 against Ric Flair. You know, or even 5 when he takes on Hogan. Or 7, WrestleMania 7, when he has the retirement match against Ultimate Warrior. That's an amazing match. So I've gone with Macho Man. That one, I think, is the one that I could swap out. I do love Andre as well. Andre definitely could have featured. But as I said, I think Daniel Bryan would have been close. I think Gunther will get there eventually, to be honest, if he keeps going. But yeah, great question. Love it. Really made me think. So people always ask me what my favorite is. I always say Undertaker and Shawn. So trying to fill out a bit of a Mount Rushmore was interesting. As a kid, I loved the Warrior. I loved the Warrior. But unfortunately, you find out stuff about the Warrior, don't you? And you go, oh, he's a bit of a douche. Eddie Kingston in the ring. I'm not doing him justice here. It's always great to see Eddie Kingston. If I was to do a Mount Rushmore of AEW, I'd have Eddie Kingston on it. I'd have Eddie Kingston. I'd have Jamie Hayter. I'd probably have Danielson. And I did like Serena Deeb. But I might go CM Punk. I mean, I do have a lot of respect for MJF. MJF might make it. Kenny might make it. FTR would be hard to leave off. But those would be the names that would be in consideration. Maybe a bit early for Jamie Hayter, to be honest. Maybe a bit early for Jamie Hayter. Lovely German there by Willie Uta. Wrestler with Andy said, Austin Roman. Roman makes yours. Owen Hart and The Miz. Wow. Wow. I wouldn't have guessed The Miz. People talking about pizzas. Yeah. Bruno and Zabrisco. That whole story was amazing, wasn't it? The mentor and what's the other word I'm looking for? The student and the teacher. Yeah. Eddie has got Wheeler, Yuta, middle of the ring. Do you think Blackpool Combat Club hasn't been the same since Danielson was injured and William Regal not being there? Does that hurt the faction, says Kashawn? I think it does hurt the faction. I mean, I think the name is a little bit strange because it doesn't really fit anything, you know? I mean, when William Regal was there, it worked. But with him not around anymore, like, I don't know, Blackpool Combat Club. It's still a cool sounding name. I've always liked the sound of the name. So I'm not against it. But yeah, I think it definitely is missing something now. And Danielson is like so credible that with him not around, it also, again, feels like something's missing. But at least you've still got Moxley. I mean, Moxley is, you know, one of their biggest stars. So I can't say the whole thing has collapsed or is, you know, in the gutter or is a disaster or anything like that. But yeah, undeniably, it feels like something's missing because something is missing. Wheeler Yuta is suplexed and Eddie Kingston. Oof. Spinning back fist. Wheeler Yuta trying to get back up to his feet. And again, another spinning back fist. Wheeler Yuta goes down. Eddie Kingston gets the win. Eddie Kingston picks up the victory. So that was for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, I believe. Sticks up the finger to the crowds. Mine, Kian said, would be John Cena, Triple H, Randy Orton, and Sheamus. Good list. Good list. Coach Co said to anyone who has the first day of school, slap your teachers, don't listen, and most importantly, don't forget to bully. That's right, guys. Don't be bullied. Be the bully. That's what my dad said to me, and I've used that throughout my whole life, and it served me very well. So there we go. Eddie Kingston picks up the victory, and we're almost 50 minutes in the show, and not that far away from the halfway point here. Who's the faction Mount Rushmore? DX, Horseman, NWO, Bloodline, question mark. Tricky. That would feel about right, wouldn't it? The one that I really I'm like, I need to get them in is the Shields. Like, the Shield to me were just incredible. And I love the Wyatts, but the Shield is the one that I just thought was so cool. And think about what those three members have gone on to achieve individually. That I do look at that and go like, but maybe Bloodline have replaced Shield on the Mount Rushmore faction list. You almost broke my neck 6 times, said MJF. MJF, Adam Cole look like they're going to be defending the Ring of Honor tag titles at All Out. If anyone's earned a week off, it's you. So MJF is off this week. So MJF not around this week, but Adam Cole's going to say a few words. Right, it's a personal matter that I'm trying to figure out. I would like to get off my chest. Thanks for that, bro. Justin, shout out to you. Hope you're well. 1 Minute Wrestler said, my Mount Rushmore would be Undertaker, Kane, Stone Cold, and Bret the Hitman Hart. I like it. Kashawn said, what do you think would work as a tag team, the golden and current era in today's landscape? What do you think would work as a tag team in the golden and current era in today's landscape? Golden and current era in today's landscape. Well, I think the Brain Busters from the golden era. So Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson. Bring them in. I mean, that's basically FTR. That's basically FTR. Massive inspiration for FTR. So, I mean, but you could get the Hart Foundation as well. Or am I meant to be putting two singles wrestlers together? Or am I meant to just be taking a tag team? Because, I mean, in all fairness, you know, British Bulldogs as well would be great. They would do well. And then in the current one, am I meant to be putting two people together? No. Two people that you could put together that would work as a tag team in the current era. Do you know who I love? I love Keith Lee and Swerve. I know we've done it, and I know it's a boring answer, but I would really put them back together because I really weren't they called Swerve in Our Glory or something like that? I really like those two together. I really like those two. Their matches with the Acclaimed thought were great. So I'd be really tempted to put them two back together. Although what I will say is I think Swerve is actually quite good at whatever he does. You know, I think that Swerve is just a star. I think you can put him with Keith Lee and it works. I think his feud with Nick Wayne, where he went round Nick Wayne's house, I thought that was good. I think his promos are good. I think his look is good. You know, he even made Hit Row borderline credible down in NXT. I say borderline because I still didn't like him, but lots of other people did. So that's how magical that man is. That's how magical he is. He has the ability of making even Hit Row credible. Didn't think it possible, but it was possible. Right, we are going back. We've got Sammy backstage with Renee. Good turn of events for you recently, says Renee. Here's Don Callis. It's hard being his friend, isn't it, says Dom. Don't you find it challenging having to deal with a sociopath like that? Your partner's pregnant, I've only just heard. Sammy said, I know what you're up to. I love how Don uses that mark on his head. I mean, that mark on his head, I can only think that he, like, colors it in red every week. Because there's no way it would look that aggressive now. So I feel like he colors it in each week, and he really uses that scar now as, like, part of his character. I think that's cool. Right, Ring of Honor Tag Team Battle Royal on Rampage. Loads of teams, best friends. I can see Hart. It's gone. Grand Slam World Title Eliminator Tournament. The winner will challenge MJF on Dynamite Grand Slam. It begins next week, but we don't know who's in the tournament yet. But there is going to be a tournament where the winner will face MJF. But coming up next to take us from hour one into hour two, we've got Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole, baby. James said, mine is Bruno, Ric Flair, Taker, and Austin. That is Solid. That is very, very solid. I know that Stone Cold and Taker would be on mine, said Sonny. Time to be realistic now. Omos should take all the spots on a wrestling Mount Rushmore, said Austin. Wrestling with Andy said manager Mount Rushmore. Heenan, Heyman, Cornette, Sonny. Oh, I don't think I can have Sonny. Don't think I can have Sonny. No Jimmy Hart. That's the one that comes to my mind. I mean, to be honest, I'd take Paul Bearer over Sonny. She was big. There's no denying it. She was big. I'm trying to think if there's anyone. Jimmy Hart's the one that really, really comes to mind. I like it, though. I like it. Yeah, I can vibe with it. I mean, really, manager Mount Rushmore, Bobby Heenan 4 times. That's the correct answer. To everyone that watched All In all over the globe, thank you. Me and MJF became your new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. It was a special night, but it wasn't quite perfect, said Adam Cole. I know I'll get another shot at the AEW World title at some point. He's not in great shape. He's actually pretty banged up. But this Sunday, MJF will be ready to go. Okay, this Roderick Strong's going to come out now. Yeah, do you remember your other friend? Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, The Kingdom, Roderick Strong making their way down. You care more about MJF's bad neck than you do my bad neck. This is getting so ridiculously absurd. Dave, Seth will also be on the list with them on my Mount Rushmore, and for factions on my Rushmore are Shield, New Day, Hardy Boys, American Alpha, and Evolution. What about yours? Yeah, I agreed with Wrestle with Andy's. DX, NWO, Four Horsemen, and Bloodline. I want to get Shield on there, but I think Bloodline have knocked him off. Okay, so Mike Bennett has stepped up to Adam Cole. We got each other jobs to Ring of Honor all those years ago. You was at my wedding. There's a lot of shouting. Faction, Rushmore, DX, Four Horsemen, NWO, and Ministry of Darkness, said Travis. J-Love, I like that. J-Love said Usos are a great team. T-Dot said, do you listen to rap? Sometimes. To be honest, I just don't listen to music that much anymore, but I did used to work in entertainment retail, so I was surrounded in lots of different music for about 15 years. That's probably why I'm not so desperate to listen to anything anymore. I'm all musiced out. You needed the Kingdom to take over Ring of Honor, and as soon as you did that, you jumped over to Bullet Club. Now you want to come back here and say you're a changed man. You're a liar. You're a liar. Makes me think of Uncle Howdy. You're a liar. Yeah, well, get to the point. Do you ignore all the people standing around you? Shut the F up, Chance. I agree. Shut the F up. These guys are just moody. If I've made you feel this way, I am so sorry. They've just spent like the last 5 minutes shouting at him. What I've learned about friendship is it's important to be understanding. I can't accept that. I can't accept he's your best friend. Roderick Strong said he's going to enter the Grand Slam tournament. The winner gets to face MJF, and he's going to do what Adam Cole couldn't do. If he's my real friend, you'd be rooting for me. Adam Cole is pretending to care about me. So Adam Cole was trying to give advice to Roderick Strong. He was like, that's a bad idea. Your neck is in no condition. I don't need a roll-up. I don't need a diamond ring. I'm going to break everyone's back and I'm going to win that tournament. Because I'm a wrestling legend. Mitchell, shout out to you, said, I'm going all wrestlers with mine. AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson, Bret Hart, Kurt Angle. Also, what's the halftime score? I'm going 5. Well, I think we'll do it in a second. I don't really... To be honest, I don't really feel like scoring this show because I know this isn't the show that they intended. I know this is cobbled together. You know, we always get a graphic. We did not get a graphic this week. Right, I don't know what the commentators are going on about, but that segment felt a bit flat. I mean, the Jericho segment felt like it was like not really rehearsed. Like I felt like I was watching the rehearsal. This one, there was a lot of shouting going on, and not much entertainment. But as I said, I just don't really feel like critiquing the show because it's just not the show we were meant to get. And Tony's already sent a tweet out saying like that I've had to change the show tonight. There's people that have got illnesses. The hurricane has caused travel disruption. Maybe that's all just an excuse. I don't know. What I do know is if I was to critique the show, I would say it's not loads here, is there? I can't. It's hard to see this show doing a really great rating because I think anyone that has tuned in to like, you know, oh God, let's see how they follow up. Let's see how they follow up All In. Like, is there stuff here that's going to keep people sticking around? Don't know. I genuinely do not know what the rating for this show is going to look like. I think if this had just been what I was expecting at the start, big segment, big names, big fallout from All In, we're setting up All Out. That's what I was expecting. But for the reasons that Tony has already given, we're not getting that show. So I don't know. I've got to think this is going to affect the ratings. I've got to think people that did tune in are seemingly or, you know, not sticking around. I could see it doing 900,000, 910, something like that. 915. But who knows? Perhaps it'll be over the million. Perhaps they will do over 1 million and people will just like watch it. Here's Chris Statlander. I don't know when we're going to like a break, so I'll run the risk and just play the thing now.
Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I really want to know your halftime scores. Put it in the chat. Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this.
Boom. I was going to type out all the names, but then I thought, oh my God, I don't even know if I'll fit them all on. It's a trios match. So we've got Statlander, Shida, and Britt Baker making their way down to the ring. Yeah, put in your scores. So Christopher with a 4. We've got 1 Minute Wrestler with a 5. Reyes with a 7. David, hello, shout out to you. Shaquem with a 4. Trey with a 5. J Love said 3. Nothing more. Feels like Adam was trying to promote some young talent that we don't know, said Jonathan. Sakilla said 2.5. Zoom Station said 7. Says 2. Sneve Vegas said 6. Donald said 4.5. Dean says 4. Austin said, I love seeing Shida and Britt work together. Let him in. Thank you, Bray says 6. Greg says 8. Marcus said 2 out of 4. Penta's new dark side, Shiver Me Timbers. That's still my favorite moment of All In. That might be my favorite moment of any pay-per-view this year, actually. Was the fact that we got like this music playing and everything, and out came someone that was already in the match. I did enjoy that. Samantha with a 6. Gerald with a 4. WWE and AEW fan with a 4. Marcus with a 2.5. Well, they're not the greatest scores in the world, are they? There's lots of 4.8s from Rob's, 5.5s, Princess Lady with a 3, Silver Bandit with a 0. But. Remember, this is not the show that was intended. So I'm cutting slack. I'm cutting slack. I am just watching the show knowing that, well, look, you know, they find themselves in a situation where they're just having to throw a show together with the superstars they do have, the wrestlers they do have. Still to come tonight, we've got the new AEW World Trios Champions. Also, Orange Cassidy takes on Penta El Zero Miedo. The winner will face John Moxley at AEW All Out. Tomorrow, I'm going to upload my Payback predictions. Obviously, Friday, we've got SmackDown. Saturday, we have got Payback. And Sunday, we'll be doing All Out. So, plenty of stuff on the way. It's busy, man. It's busy at the moment. Right, tag. In comes Marina Shafir. Kick coming in there by Shafir. Nice kicks in the corner. Nice throw. Baker down. Tag. Kick coming into the side of the body as Marina Shafir steps back out. Nyla Rose is in now, so... Into the corner goes Britt Baker. Britt Baker's in the ring. There's Emi Sakura. Nyla Rose gesturing that she is watching someone at ringside. Britt Baker over by her corner, but I don't think a tag was made. No, I didn't even think about that. There was no Chris Statlander, was there, at the AEW All In show? That's a bit of a shame. What's she doing? Emi Sakura's just sat on the back of Britt Baker. Kick coming in by Emi Sakura. Goes over, tag. In comes Marina Shafir. She goes over, she grabs the leg of Britt Baker. Wraps the legs up. Bow and arrow. Let's go back. No, she abandons that. Oh, God, what was this? Cartwheel. Kick to the side of the heads. Double underhooks. Into a sleeper holds. There's a little moment there where Britt Baker kind of kicked out at Marina Shafir, and rather than her going backwards, she cartwheeled. She was determined to do what she wanted to do, even if it fitted or didn't fit. So the heels at the moment are just keeping Britt Baker in the wrong part of town. Statlander defending the belt at All Out against Ruby, said Gerald. It's because Tony only likes one women's match on shows, says James. Marina looks tough. Hey, I actually like Marina, but I will also be the first to say that she's not very good in the ring. I think part of it is that I had high hopes for her because when she came in, she was one of the horsewomen. And I was watching her and Jessamine Duke, and I really wanted Becky, Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha against Marina Shafir, Jessamine Duke, Shayna Baszler, and Ronda Rousey. 4 horsewomen against 4 horsewomen. So I was really rooting for it to work, and I was really rooting for it to get there, and obviously it never does. And then, you know, Marina Shafir gets picked up. She was never seen as like awful in WWE or anything. It's since she came in to AEW that some of her performances have been poor, to say the least. And then that promo. You know me. Yes, you do. It's a brilliant promo. It's so memorable. I feel like it's Dusty's Hard Times promo. That was memorable. And Marina Shafir's You Know Me. Yes, you do. You don't know me. I love it. It made me love her more. So there is a definite soft spot for Marina Shafir that I've got, but I will also be amongst the first to say she's not very good in the ring. But God, I really want her to succeed. I really want her to succeed. I would love for her to get really good. I would love for her to like become a bit of a killer and be credible and be good and, you know. Marina is down. Kick coming in there by Britt Baker as Shida rolls out the ring. Nyla Rose grabbing Britt. Britt is chokeslammed down. She didn't seem to take that very well. That chokeslam looked a bit moody. Marina is still down. She gets up. God, she just properly burst back into life. She goes to the outside by Chris Statlander. Clothesline. Nyla Rose goes over the top, so Marina's on the outside. Nyla's on the outside. Chris Statlander's going up top. Oh, look at this. Stand around, women. Stand around. I hate that spot. It looks so phony. It looks so fake. It looks so choreographed. Statlander has got tombstone pile driver on Marina Shafir, and it's a pin and a win. Chris Statlander gets the victory, and it was what it was. Bit of arguing between Shida and Britt Baker. A bit of arguing. They crushed all the talent for Jade Cargill. Then they crushed Cargill for Statlander. And Statlander is trash, said Haagen-Dazs. Ruby has grabbed the TBS championship. She gives it a little kiss. So, Ruby Statlander on Sunday. She leaves the belt in the entranceway. Okay. So, I would imagine that'll be a win for Statlander, to be honest. That would be my guess. Now we are looking at... Who's this? Who's he? What's his name? Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor, Samoa Joe. I want to get back to establishing my legacy. Pretty fired up, isn't he? Wow. That's going to be it all out. Samoa Joe against Shane Taylor. When Mike Bennett was going on and on about Ring of Honor, I'm surprised the crowd didn't keep saying, what? What? Strategy. I can't even say it. Strategy session. Strategy session. There we go. With Takeshita and Don Callis. Don Callis is showing Takeshita how to beat Kenny Omega. Right side is the weak side. I don't mind this, actually. We're seeing x-rays, and we're seeing advice being given to Takeshita about different moves that he can use to really target the weak areas of Kenny Omega. Don't mind it. Don't mind it at all. Coming up tonight, Orange Cassidy against Penta. We got about 39 minutes left to go. So, I mean, what I will say is that it feels like tonight's show has gone by quite quickly. I will say that, and I've said it. Easy for you to say, says John. Yes. The crowd on Kenny Smith at dunk contest mode. Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen. Gerald, shout out to you. Commercial break. We are at commercial break. Crowd is half dead, and I know where they're coming from, said Sakilla. Blaze Radio, hello. I like your profile picture, Blaze Radio. That's good. I like that. Takeshita's nose mole hypnotizes me. Oh. It is cute. It is cute. Wait, I saw some about tacos. Did you? What, in the chat? I didn't see anything about tacos on this week's AEW. I would have noticed that. I would have noticed that. Seth freaking Roland said, do you miss the AEW tunnels or do you like this stage design? I don't miss the tunnels. I thought they were a bit amateurish, actually. They didn't do anything for me at all. So, no, I don't miss them. I think this one's better. I prefer this stage. I like the screens. You know, it feels more professional. The tunnels meant that you just had like that one screen in the middle, and don't know, it just didn't pop as much. I think this pops more. I think this is better. If the sacrifice is that you have to lose those two tunnels, I'm more than happy doing that. We need a taco part stream. What's that? Taco party stream. I don't know what that would consist of. I'm guessing tacos, which is actually not something we tend to have here that often. You can get them in the UK, of course, but it's not really our culture, is it? So tacos, yeah. Like, we don't really have Taco Bell. I think they're awesome. I definitely saw one in Southampton, but it opened as I was leaving. I'm sure some more have probably popped up around the country, but in America, I feel like Taco Bell is everywhere. Like, you know, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, but not here. So, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm the right person to be hosting a taco party. My taco knowledge is very, very amateur level, and I will be the first to admit that. I am amateur in the taco world. Not a taco virgin, but I am an amateur. This episode doesn't feel like a go-home for All Out, said Kashawn. Well, you know, they have been forced to make these changes, haven't they? They're overrated. Tacos are like whatever. Well, big words. Well, not actually big words, but don't know. People do love their tacos. Yo. Trump mugshot gets a mention. Apparently everyone's buying that Trump mugshot kind of stuff. I heard that, and don't worry, we're not getting political. I heard that if you are for Trump, people are buying it as a bit of a, you know, he's suffering for us type badge of honor type thing. And if you're against Trump, people are using it as a ha ha ha, he got arrested type thing. But the bottom line is, they're selling loads of like pictures, mugs, and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah. I've only seen I've only seen it once. I saw the picture when it got released. I thought it looked all right. I'm surprised he didn't be like, but I suppose you're not allowed, are you? They'd probably just make him do it again. But he had to know that that picture was going to go everywhere. He had to know. Imagine if he stuck like a middle finger up, knowing that that picture was going to be seen by everyone. Right, Billy Gunn. Daddy Ash chants, I believe. They've got some belts underneath on a table. So are these going to be new trios belts? We became trios champions. Got the belt the wrong way, mate. Holding the belt up the wrong way, bud. Well said, Billy. We're the best three-way going today. Tell you what's bit this is a segment that's obviously been planned because we've got seemingly new belts. Chicago lifted us up and moved us to the next level. There's one way that I wanted to start off our reign, and that's a ribbon cutting ceremony. Oh, scissor me daddy chance. So there's a ribbon that needs cutting. Let's go. Let's go. This is wrestling. Cut the ribbon. You've got a little one. How about if we used my big one? Oh, he's got some big scissors. Let's go. He did it. He cut the ribbon. Do I need to do a video on that? Thank you, Billy. I'm more interested in what these new belts look like. There's a new era. Welcome to the House of Ass. Yes. House of Black against House of Ass. House of Ass. House of Ass. This is the most animated the crowd have been. In this house, we wear pink. These are dull. Oh, are they going to be pink? Are they going to be the same belts on pink straps? Don't act surprised. You can see the flipping belts. Right, so it's the same belts, but on pink straps. Actually, don't hate them. They're more salmon, to be honest. What's on the back? Oh, wow! That's cool. So the back of the belt has got like indentations. So you can actually get both ends of the belt and scissor And they've got like scissors on. They'll be selling them, won't they? That's clever, that is. I thought it was only just like pink. That's all right, that is. The belt scissor. Throw the scissors in the air. So now they can use the belts to scissor. Oh, their belts are scissoring. So yeah, the end of the straps have got like cutouts. And then they've got scissors like drawn on. So it looks like basically the end of the belt is two scissors that are open. And then you can like scissor the belt together, the two ends of the belt. Oh man, and that means the fans can scissor the belts. I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Whoever's come up with that deserves a raise. And the fans are all scissoring the belt. I want to scissor the belt. I like that. I like that. I like the Acclaim, though. Did you hear Authors of Pain could be returning, says AWC. Yeah, as mentioned earlier, I like the Authors of Pain. I'd be all right with them coming back. The only thing I would say is that I think we've got a few big teams already. I don't think we've really done much with them. If you look at Indashia, they're big. Haven't really done much with them. Viking Raiders, I mean, all right, maybe Eric's not the biggest, but Ivar's big. They're meant to be like a quite imposing team, you know? So like Authors of Pain coming in, they're hopefully going to get booked well. Hopefully. Because as we said, we don't really see Indashia. And Viking Raiders have been booked pretty awfully, to be honest. So I like them, though. I like them. I liked them when they was in NXT. Right, we're just running down what's coming up on Collision, what's coming up on Rampage. So, yeah, AWC Legend, shout out to you. Appreciate it. Austin said, I feel sorry for Dark Order. They should have been tag champs at least once by now. Same could be said about Best Friends. Jordan is scoring the show a 7 at the moment. Gerald said, another trios women's match on Collision. Let's go. Coach Co says, hi. Hello. Huh. Said, I thought gimmick belts were done 15 years ago. No, I mean, we've had the Fiend gimmick belt, haven't we? That was like that was one that was done recently. Even MJF's is a gimmick belt, the Triple B belt. So, I don't mind that at all. That is definitely not PG, said Kieran. I think that the 4 Battle Royal they done in 2 months. There is a Battle Royal coming up. It's not on this show, though, is it? Is it Rampage? Right now, they're just running through the all-out card. In fact, we can... That might have been updated, mightn't it? We could probably talk about that all-out card. AEW All-Out. AEW All-Out. Right, we've got 8 matches. Woo. 8 matches. Coming up next, Orange Cassidy against Penta. That's going to be the main event. So, this is the card. Yeah, main event time. So, main event is coming up. Penta making his way down. Let me change this on screen and then I'll read out the matches for AEW All Out. Penta versus Orange Cassidy. Okay, Luchasaurus against Darby Allin. That's for the AEW TNT Championship. Could be okay. Miro against Powerhouse Hobbs. Yeah, I'm down for that. Could be fun. Chris Statlander against Ruby Soho. I like both of them women. Could be okay. Orange Cassidy and Penta against John Moxley. Not for me. Kenny Omega versus Takeshita. Could be good. I like Kenny Omega singles matches. Bullet Club Golds against FTR and Young Bucks. Doesn't really mean anything, does it? I don't really know why we're doing it. I like Bullet Club. I mean, I like everyone in this match apart from the Bucks. So could be okay, but I don't really know why we're doing it. Adam Cole and MJF are taking on To Be Determined. It depends who wins that battle royal. Could be okay. Samoa Joe against Shane Taylor. Could be okay. I mean, maybe there's not really anything there that's essential. Maybe there's not really anything there that you're like, oh my God, I have to watch that. But for a Sunday, where the alternative is we probably wouldn't be doing anything, any stream, I don't mind watching Miro against Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't mind watching Chris Statlander against Ruby Soho. I don't mind watching Kenny Omega against Takeshita. Yeah, don't mind. I got my expectations just, I don't really have any for All Out because it's a week after All In. All In was the one that had like high expectations. It's the biggest show. It's Wembley. They're going to go banana. Whereas this one, just kind of coming in with next to no expectations, really. So, yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Maybe Roddy needs to pay a visit to the WWE psychologist who helped Alexa talk about delusions of grandeur. Maybe. Although I don't think he helped Alexa, did he? Didn't we do like about 4 or 5 weeks of sessions? And then at the end he went, you know what? Here's Lily. Like, I think, you'll be fine with her. I think we spent about 5 weeks trying to wean her off Lily to then at the end go, do you know what? Here's Lily. Just have it. You'll be fine. I don't think he was any good. I don't think he was any good. We're just seeing a shot of the crowd, and I don't really know what the delay is. I'm guessing it might be like a commercial break, maybe, but I'm not sure. Get Omos on All Out, and that would sell tickets, said Austin. All Out feels like In Your House, said Travis. Yeah, but I like In Your House. I'm an In Your House stan. So that works for me. Jim said, Joe, what I will say is it definitely, that card does not feel like an all-out card, right? But then, what do you expect just a week after All In? But I completely agree, it does not feel like a strong all-out card. But what it does feel like is like, are you down for watching this match? Yeah, I'll watch that match. Are you down for watching this match? Yeah, I'll watch that match. Samoa Joe, Shane Taylor, yeah, watch that. Jim said Joe, Shane Taylor should be hard hitting. Taylor was a great Ring of Honor TV champ, and is the reason why it's called the Ring of Honor World TV Championship. Jim dropping his knowledge. Jim, I hope you're well, but where is Wardlow? Hasn't he fallen out with him or something? I think I heard there was a bit of drama, isn't there? I don't think it's an injury. Ellis Stubbs said, All Out feels like a B show. It feels like when WWE did SummerSlam and then ran Payback just 2 weeks later. That was in 2020. Yeah. It might have even been a week. It's, it does definitely feel like a B show. It definitely doesn't feel like essential viewing. But as I said, wow. Yeah, actually thinking about it, I'm sitting here going, yeah, I'll watch that. It's going to be all right, blah, 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 blah. Is this $50 in America? Because if that's $50 in America, I can't see people parting for $50 to watch that show. So, you know, all of a sudden my brain just went, this ain't free. This might be one you got to pay for. So, yeah, don't know. Taking that into consideration, maybe it's not good enough, but actually, like, matches I'm all right with watching. There's a few there. Coach Co said, when you go to your beds, don't forget to clean your pee in the people, because if you do damage, your people is in good spirits if you had poop fingers. I don't know what that means, and I really feel like I'm tripping. I don't know what it is, man. Reading that just like really made me think, like, am I actually here? Is this real? Freaked me out. That comment freaked me out. It had an effect on me like no Koji Co commenters had before. But Coach Co, I hope you are well. I think it's because it's been a bit of a weird Dynamite. It's not the Dynamite I was expecting. And, you know, we're getting towards the end of it. It's just a weird time to drop a comment like that, to be honest. Shout out to you, Coach Co. Shout out to you. I hope you're well. Right, we've got Orange Cassidy. Getting the better of Penta at the moment. Should we do a poll? Let's do a poll. Let's wash that Koji Co comments out of our minds by doing this poll. Who wins? It's probably OC, in it. OC or Penta? Who wins? Come on. Come on. Stop sitting on the fence. Who wins? Penta has got Orange Cassidy. Above his head, there's a woman in the front row that's asking for Orange Cassidy to be thrown in her direction. And as soon as he was, she moved out the way. Penta had Orange Cassidy up above his head like this. And the woman was like, yeah. Over here. And as soon as he chucked her, she went, good friend you are. I thought she was going to, like, try and catch him or something. Throw him over here. Throw him over here. Ooh, I don't like it. Penta. Having a word with someone in the crowd. Kicks the legs of Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy crashes down. Koji Co is better than All Out, said Gerald. AB Jobson said Payback is going to be better than both in and out. John said, yeah, it's $50. I agree. I think a lot of people who went for All In will ignore the sequel this weekend. Yep. That's going to be a hard sell. That will be a hard sell. I think they probably know that, though. And I've got to think that the amount of buys and the amount of money they've made from All In means that All Out just pretty much on every level is irrelevant. If that show bombs, I can't imagine it's going to hurt their bottom line too much after the success of Wembley. We'll still do it, though. Why not? Orange Cassidy is over against the ropes, and Penta is very much in control. Big chop coming in there by Penta. Days, what do you think about the All Out? Yeah, I just said I think the card is pretty average, but I think there's little there that I'm offended by. You know, there's little there that I'm worried about. I ain't worried about Miro, Powerhouse Hobbs. I think that's going to bang. Samoa Joe, Shane Taylor, I think that'll bang. I don't know anything about Shane Taylor, but certainly from the video package, I'm like, yeah, I could watch that. Looks like it could be a fun little, two big boys going at it. Chris Statlander against Ruby Soho. I like both of those. I know people are a bit down on Ruby Soho, but I've always had a little soft spot for her. I liked her in NXT as Ruby Riott, and then she came up as like the unofficial leader of the Riott Squad, and I like her. She's had some bad moments, bad matches, but I would watch that. Kenny Omega to Keshta. Mm-hmm. As we said, Bullet Club Gold, FTR, Young Bucks. I'm not a Young Bucks fan, but there's enough people there that I like to make me think that match could be pretty good. So, yeah, but it ain't 50 quid's worth. It ain't $50 worth, in my opinion. Mitchell said, I feel like every time you change your beanie, you either need 1, a new entrance, or 2, a new name, just like Penta gets. You could be at Turda El Gorro. A Turda El Gorro. Oh, I feel like that's probably Mexican for like turd man. And it fits, doesn't it, really? It fits. Can I just tell you, I hate this beanie now. I hate it. It's actually falling apart. The lining inside is starting to like come away. So I've got like these horrible bits in there that are like digging into me, and like it makes it like flop down as well in certain places. Like the lining is all kind of coming out and everything. It's all there. So I'm really, up against it here. I'm really up against. I've got Kojiko dropping in random messages. I've got my beanie that's falling apart. I'm having to watch Orange Cassidy and Penta. It's not good being me right now. Corey, shout out to you, my friends. John said, I do think, though, that if All Out bombs, it hurts what I think is Tony's long-range plan, which is to eventually come up with a 2-night event to rival WrestleMania. Well, you've probably just got to book it in advance, haven't you? You've probably got to go into this show with All In booked and All Out booked, and so like you're not leaving it all for this show. Coach Co said, sipping on a kitty cat with a mill. He had forget to have your hot data. What? It's so random. I can't even read it before it jumps off screen. Sipping on a kitty cat with a mill. What's a mill? He had forget to have your hot. I can't even read it. I can't even read it. Oh, let's go again. This is like the worst time for this kind of a message, you know? We're 10 minutes away from the end of the stream. My brain is already shutting down. I don't even know if it ever shut on, to be honest, but... Penta looking for the pin on Orange Cassidy. Here we go. Sipping on a kitty cat with a mill. He had a forget to have your hot data. Yes, poop fingers may turn your fingers brown. Make sure you have consent with the baby in the mess with the tiff. I don't even know how you write a comment like that. I don't know if you just smash your face into the keyboard and hope for the best, or if it's like AI generated, or do you just write the words that come into your head as you think them? Don't know. I feel like there's no attempt there for that to make any sense whatsoever. There's zero attempt. No attempt. Apart from poop making your fingers brown. I can't see any attempt for that sentence to make sense. Answers on a postcard. Mitchell said, Days, that's the day. It's Days the Beanie in Spanish. Oh, okay, that's better. I thought it was Turd Man in Mexican. Mitchell, shout out to you. Kojiko, I really appreciate the support, dudes. I cannot wait for you to learn English. I cannot wait. Right, we've got Orange Cassidy trying to get back up to his feet, but he's kicked down again. Coach Co's super chats are so bad that they make All Out look good, says, huh. Days, what are your thoughts on Eugene as a character in the Ruthless Aggression era? I don't think you could do it now. I think that I actually felt for the character at the time. It's difficult, isn't it? Because I think wrestling is, you know, you probably should have someone that's got like some sort of mental health issues, because I feel like wrestling is a reflection of the world. You know, you have different races, different sexes, but like, would it be wrong? But if you are going to have someone with mental health issues, you've got to portray them in a positive light, right? And it's obviously going to be a real challenge to portray someone that's got like mental health issues. And I think we can agree that Eugene was not the way to portray it. So I found myself feeling supportive of that character. Like, I wanted that character to succeed. I felt sorry for that character. I wanted the best for that character. I wanted that character to win. So I don't know. I mean, like, you wouldn't get away with it in this day and age. And I do think that we shouldn't just shy away from characters that have like mental health issues, because that's not a reflection of the world, is it? And I think wrestling should reflect the world, should reflect, like, you know, women can wrestle. We've had midgets wrestling. Midget wrestling was very popular, but you don't tend to see it so much now, but you probably should. But it's just, you know, how do you fit it in, of course? How do you, you know, how do you make it work? So, I don't know. It's tricky. I mean, like, do you remember AEW had that guy that didn't have any legs in the first Battle Royal? Like, perhaps WWE and AEW aren't the right place for it. I actually don't know. I feel like we've stumbled across quite an interesting conversation. I don't know if there is like a disabled wrestling promotion where all of the competitors have got some sort of disability. I would think that promotion exists, but I couldn't tell you if it does. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if that exists or not. Interesting, though. See, I think that wrestling is at its best, or for me personally, when you've got two people trying to win a conflict, trying to win a battle, right? To prove they're the best and win a championship and, you know, get wins, earn more money, blah, 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 blah. Well, that same opportunity should be open to people with disability. I mean, obviously, they're not going to be stepping in there with the likes of Roman Reigns, you wouldn't imagine. But they could step in there with other people with disabilities, just like the Paralympics, you know? We don't put people with disabilities in with people that haven't got disabilities. Not usually. The Paralympics is people with disability against people with disability. So I wonder if there is a promotion that's doing that. I wonder if there's a promotion out there that does that for people with disabilities. What if you had a disability and you really wanted to be a wrestler and that was your dream? Like, I'd like to think that there would be a place for those people to, you know, experience that and live that dream. That's really interesting. Really, I don't know that I've ever thought about that. And I'm not aware of that. You're saying people with disabilities should be segregated, says Corvids. Only if you think the Paralympics is segregation. Nicole said you're being short peopleist by calling them the M word. Brackets joking. Yeah, I don't actually know what the right terminology is now, but I feel like I can say midget wrestling because that's what it was called. It was called midget wrestling. We did have midget wrestling because that's what it was. But yeah, I actually don't know. Is it short people wrestling these days? I don't know. Or maybe that's bad. I don't know. I am coming from a place of ignorance when it comes to how you word that. Coach Co said party. Oh God, why have you sent another one, bud? Why have you sent another one in? Mitchell said, I think it's little people. Is it? Is it? Don't know. Is it? Don't know. I actually don't know. Coach Co said parties with the Coco de Sony XCX old headed to Tatty needs the police in the mouthpiece with a cozy with a pot pie with Lucky going blah blah Sony XY967321. Is that a Walkman or something? The Sony XY967321. Coach, shout out to you, my friends. Don't need to keep super chatting, bud, because, like, you know, no one has a clue what you're on about. Penta is in the middle of the ring. We might as well end the poll now, mightn't we? Because, like, well, this match is going to be done in a moment. Penta has snapped the arm of Orange Cassidy. Middle of the ring. Sierra Miero looking for some sort of... Is that like a package pile driver? 1, 2. Oh, and Orange Cassidy kicks out. 1, 2, 3. And the little... is that like a crucifix pit? So Orange Cassidy got battered. And then right at the end, just flipped over Penta and got the 3. Orange Cassidy wins. Let's go. So Orange Cassidy got absolutely battered, and then it was like a crucifix pin. 1, 2, 3, keeps the belt. So it's going to be Orange Cassidy against Jon Moxley at AEW All Out. That was the wrong move, said Alexis. That's why everyone is saying, but it was definitely not better than WrestleMania. Oh, Orange Cassidy's got a microphone. Yeah. I don't usually like to talk. I'm so tired. My body hurts. I'm here. I'm wrestling. I'm defending. This means everything to me, says Orange Cassidy. This is what AEW is. I was a person that was told that you'll never do anything, that you're too skinny. I'm the champion. Well, not the champion. You're a champion. Moxley going to attack him? Jon Moxley, you're going to need more than a fork. Bring the spoon. Bring the spoon as well, John. So there we go. Orange Cassidy says a few words at the end of the show. It's not something that he tends to do. The crowd have enjoyed it. Here's John Moxley's coming down. John Moxley making his way down to the ring. How long have we got? Have we gone off air yet? He gets right in the face of Orange Cassidy, pushes him. Cassidy with a big right hand. So Moxley and Cassidy face to face. Moxley sticks the fingers up, walks out the ring, and that is AEW Dynamite. Feel free to put in your thoughts about this week's show. Feel free to put in your thoughts. Big Time said, I know plans change and it was out of Tony's control, but this might be one of the worst follow-ups to a massive show you could put together. Thrug said, good morning, Days. Morning, mate. Just came in to say hello. Shout out to you, dude. AB said 2 hours, but only 4 matches. Breaking news. Husker Volleyball breaks world record for largest crowd at a women's sporting event. Really? How many people went to see Husker Volleyball? Wasn't there like 70-odd thousand, 80,000? Is it more than that? Well, I know women's football has been getting like 70, 80,000. Well, didn't even know there was a venue that could hold more than that for women's volleyball. God, you crazy Americans. Grant says, and I do not have a catchphrase. Orange Cassidy is hilarious. Grant, shout out to you, dudes. I'm still going to go 5. OC promo at the end by OC wasn't bad. What about you? I don't know. I'm just not bothered. I know that's the wrong attitude, but like, I don't know. I just sort of think like, oh man, these things happen, don't they? Illnesses and hurricanes and, you know, we've seen them with WWE where people have not been able to get back and we've had to go and get like the NXT talent and we've had to cobble it together. And I don't know, there's something about this show that I find strangely enjoyable, right? There's something strangely enjoyable about, I mean, you know, the show itself I didn't massively enjoy. Everyone's saying 5, 6s, all that kind of stuff. I totally hear you. I'm not saying this is an 8 or a 9 or whatever. What I am saying, though, is that I always get something from a show where you know it's not the show you was meant to get. So this is not the show that was planned because of illnesses and the hurricane thing, right? I don't even know how drastically different it is. It might only have been one segment got changed. And if that's all it is, then yeah, this show was, you know, not what I was looking for. But where I would normally finish like a stream like this and I'd be like, God, you know, what they doing? Like, you know, whatever. I just don't feel that way at all. I feel quite chipper. I feel quite positive because this isn't the show that was planned and they've had to make a load of changes. They've had to, you know, kind of chuck this together last minute. And there's something quite exciting about that. Something quite exciting about like, right, this isn't what we were going to do, but we just got to dig in. Let's try and do, I don't know. I remember being quite excited when we had to call up the NXT talent for, was it a SmackDown episode? I remember when we had to do that in WWE and it was like, oh man, you know, that was quite exciting. And even though this is maybe not as exciting as like going as far as having to do like something like that. Could you imagine if this show is just a load of people we'd never heard of? Just a load of people from like Ring of Honor, like some of the real low down talent from Ring of Honor. It was not that, but I don't know. I'm letting him off. I'm letting him off. It was not a great show. I think that it felt like there was parts of this that were thrown together because I think it was thrown together. And your 5s, your 6s, I definitely see them. Tahil with the 6.5, Red Sky with the 6. Sakila said, if Punk is not on Collision, what's the point of that show? Orange Cassidy is becoming more than just the sloth of wrestling, says Jim. It was a Raw show, says Tahil. Was it Raw? That probably makes sense, actually, because I've got a feeling it was off the back of a pay-per-view. So that probably would make sense. Days, spare me. Why can't tell the show would have been any different from usual? You can't tell me the show would have been different from usual. I can't tell you anything because I don't know what the original show was. I can't sit here and say, can I? Are the AEW illnesses COVIDs? Don't know. It was a message that, I mean, what I can say is every week we get a graphic saying this is, the show, and we didn't get one this week, and that in itself is unusual. And so, I kind of put it down to the fact that it was all in, and now we're here, but I still would have expected a graphic. And then there was the tweet from Tony where he said, look, we've had some illnesses, the flights and all of that's knocked people around as well, but also the hurricane. And it's like, tonight you're going to get a show that's not the show that was intended, but it's still going to be a great Dynamite. Ugh. So I don't know. I have no idea right now of knowing how much has changed. As I said, if it's just one segment, if it's only one thing that's been changed, if largely this is the show, then yeah, it wasn't a good show. But if it turns out that like 50%, 60%, 70% of this show was like, had to be conjured up out of thin air at some point today, then I'd look at it and go, do you know what? Fair play, you've dug deep, you've, put Summit on screen, got through it, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Dynamite is a mysterious box weekly. Rampage is Abomination, and Collision is like a decent box of chocolate with Punk. I really wish Collision was on a Wednesday and Dynamite was on a Saturday. FaZe Coasters said 6 out of 10. It's very weak for a Fallout go home. My hype for All Out is very minimal. No world title match? No. No. You may have had one if MJF was going to be wrestling. CM Punk was going to be wrestling. James said SmackDown had NXT stars on it because they couldn't get back in time because of the Saudi show. Oh, right. So, yeah, because there was a Saudi show on a Thursday, wasn't there? So it was SmackDown. Right. I honestly can't remember which one it was. Raw, SmackDown. I can't remember. I do remember it being off the back of a pay-per-view show. So if it's SmackDown, then cool. If it's Raw, cool. If it's none of them and I've completely made it up, cool. Big Time said apparently Collision is taking place on Friday at 8 p.m. head-to-head with SmackDown. Swap reported AEW does want another pay-per-view premium live event head-to-head. So they're moving Collision so they don't go up against Payback. Okay. I mean, going up against SmackDown's still not brilliant, but whatever. Their choice. Their choice. Why is it drama follows CM Punk wherever he goes, said Inside Out and again. Well, he's outspoken, he's opinionated. He's not someone that minds his own business. He's not someone that suffers fools. I think all of that kind of combines into someone that's going to easily find trouble, you know? Have you watched an episode of Collision? No. On Sunday and different days, see how good it is. You're not missing out on much. I haven't seen it. Just going by what I'm told. Kieran said, when Orange Cassidy becomes a multi-time champion like Cena, then everyone can say that. William said, people catch it and never wash their hands. Okay, I think we've got quite a few different conversations going on. We might be getting the weakest WWE AEW pay-per-view of the year back-to-back with Payback and All Out, said Face Coasters. They're moving Collision to what time? Word on the street is Friday. Same time as SmackDown, but I don't know. I'll be watching SmackDown. Tehil said, should have kept it on Saturday because still have to pay for Payback because of Peacock, and that might be a mistake. James said it's because people don't like outspoken people. That as well. Scott Slade said a boring all-out cards. William said, I'm doing it. I'm pooping for everyone. I'm sending poop to the entire community. One day that poop will save a life. Austin said, James, you're the CM Punk of the community. Big Time Baxter said, Days, are you prepared for another lull period for wrestling? I don't know if we'll get one. I don't know. I mean, I suppose a lot of the big stuff is done. You know, I mean, once you get past SummerSlam, there's not really anything massive in WWE. I know you have the Saudi show, but... And actually, you know, the Saudi show earlier this year was pretty good. Under Triple H, the Saudi shows have been good, so maybe we can look forward to that. If Survivor Series is going to be War Games again, that ain't going to do it for me. And then there was no December pay-per-view, so... But saying that, WWE have still got to be getting them ratings, you know? And actually, they've just announced John Cena's around for 7 weeks, so... I don't know. I don't know, you know. WWE under Triple H is doing all right. It's doing more than all right, so... Just because there's no WrestleMania or no SummerSlam doesn't mean that it will go into a lull. AEW, they're just going to do whatever they're going to do, aren't they? You know, they've got enough short-term problems to work out, let alone worry about the long-term. So, we'll see. We'll see. Lucid Vibe Media said, CM Punk are all out in Chicago or no? It's looking like no. It's looking like no. Apparently suspended is the word on the street, but not confirmed by AEW yet, is the last I heard. I don't know why they're saying he comes to wrestle if he's still under contract. Days, what you doing later tonight? Said Serious Gaming. To be honest, but I'm going to have some ice cream and I'm going to go to bed, which is quite unusual for me to go to bed this early. But I have been up all day working on my predictions video, my payback predictions video, and it's took me hours and hours and hours and hours. I really wanted it up today. I wanted to get it out today, and I just couldn't get it out in time. So I'm feeling it, to be honest. I'm feeling it. So I'm going to go and have a bit of ice cream, and then I'm off to bed. So actually, on that bombshell, probably going to send this baby home right now. So a big thank you to everyone that joined us tonight and watched the show along with us and shared their thoughts and everything. As I said, tomorrow there will be my payback predictions video that goes out, which I hope people enjoy. It's not very long, but I have made sure to put like clips in and, you know, make it look as good as I can. Then on Friday we've got SmackDown, and then of course we've got Payback, and we are doing All Out on Sunday. So I mean, look, there's loads, man. There's loads. If you're into wrestling, you know, you're getting your fill at the moment, definitely. So big shout out to everyone. Have a great evening wherever you are. as I said, really do appreciate the support as always. And I hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone is safe from the hurricanes and, anything else that's going wrong in the world. And hopefully I will see you again next time. Bye for now.